You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Leads the NHL. Here's Rodriguez. Back out for Smith. Cross ice. Score! Marchand gives Florida their first lead of the series. Connecting on the power play. Here's McDavid. Out in front. Score! Leon Draisaitl! The Oilers win game one.
Oh my goodness, game one was a thriller last night of the Stanley Cup Final. Good morning, everybody. Guaranteed that game is going to be more exciting than an NBA Finals game. But we digress immediately. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network, where hockey is king. Absolutely. Even though national shows refuse to talk about it because they're stupid, we won't. Thanks for checking me out on the Pete Sheppard Show here across the Coastal Sports Network video platform. Following me on Twitter, X at PShep326, on YouTube, CSN Florida, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn. Call or text the show, 727-858-6650. Of course, we're on the Facebook pages as well, my Facebook page and the Coastal Sports Network Facebook page as well. And the great app, SR1029 The Game. SR1029thegame.com. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday here in Southwest Florida. It is another cloudy day, which is fine. We need the rain. I know some people around on vacation aren't too happy about it, but they are down here and up in the Tampa area as well. But look, we need the rain. It's going to be a third or fourth straight day of overcast skies and rain, and too bad. You vacation down here in early June, this is what's going to happen. Anyway, lots to discuss today. Edmonton over Florida, 4-3. What an unbelievable game won last night in the Stanley Cup Final. Just a great game. We'll get to it. Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk, Brian Boucher. Great call last night on TNT. By the way, Brian Boucher, I did one of my first or second years in radio. Did the high school hockey championship between Mount St. Charles and my Bishop Hendrick and Hawks for a local radio station. And Brian was one of the stars, obviously, of Mount St. Charles, ranked number one in the country. My high school at the time, I think, was second or third. And what a game. And Brian Boucher, who played for your Philadelphia Flyers, Angel Martinez in goal, if I'm not mistaken, did a really good job. And he is an excellent, excellent broadcaster. But beat my Hawks back then, as they always did in the state championship. But nevertheless, good guy, great broadcaster. We'll get into the Edmonton, Florida Game 1 Stanley Cup Final. The Indiana at Oklahoma City Game 1 NBA Finals is tonight. I'll be watching. Most of the country will not be watching. We'll hear from Adam Silva, who I don't think understands the dynamics of the four majors, and I do agree with him talking about small markets. Barrett Sports came out, or somebody who works for them, and Angel, I think you know who that service is, and they have a lot of up-to-date, inside the media, stuff that goes on. And they had one of the guys, I can't remember his name, wrote a nice column yesterday, exactly what I'm talking about. Because national sports talk show hosts have become so lazy that if it's not the Knicks or the Lakers or even the Celtics in Philadelphia, they can't talk about. They refuse to acknowledge small market teams. It never used to be that way. It's all of a sudden because Indiana and Oklahoma City are in the NBA Finals that these people have the nerve to act surprised. And still today, you hear people, on ESPN going, "We just didn't think Indiana would be good enough to get there." Then what the hell have you been watching? They're like 50 and 13 the last 63, something like that. Some crazy number. It's just laziness, pure laziness. We'll get into it. And the commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, even talked about it. We've got some where is flaky boy news. Still, Aaron Rodgers, still the lazy topic for ESPN radio. We'll talk about it a little bit here, but not. It's not surprising anymore. He's just using the Steelers or whatever. And I'm not sure the Steelers want him. Until something happens, it's like a non-subject, because the Steelers they should just go get Kirk Cousins and end all this nonsense. But they won't. MLB rundown. Red Sox win on a 308-foot home run, a walk-off yesterday by Rafaela, the shortest walk-off home run in postseason history. And I'm not even sure it was 308 feet because that pesky pole, technically, they put it to 301 now, I believe, but it's really 299. And it's very hard to hit a cheapy home run. I mean, there's way more cheapies in Yankee Stadium in right field than there is at Fenway. You very rarely see like a sort of a check swing pop up like that, and just the right angle, just enough around the pesky pole into that woman's lap. They say it was 308 feet. I think it was more like 300 feet tops. And people have misunderstood Fenway with the pesky pole. If you blast it around the pesky pole and it goes, which if you're going around that part of right field, that's a bomb. You know, you don't see a lot of cheapies that land like they did yesterday in that woman's lap. And man, the Red Sox needed it because Giolito sucked, giving up 7 runs in an inning and 2/3. And then the Red Sox came back. And won 11-9. It's on to New York. There you go. We'll break that down. Phillies lost a tough one last night, but we digress. The Twins just keep on winning. The A's suck beyond belief. They're an embarrassment. And how about the Colorado Rockies sweeping the Miami Marlins in front of 52 people? It was fantastic. We have the highlights of that as well, and a whole lot more NFL and college football news. We're going to talk to Jay Flannelly today from Beeves World, find out what is going on or what happened with the Michigan. And there's a picture of him on Facebook of Jay with him on my Facebook page today, and we'll find out why the Florida Gators voted first time in history Dr. Santa Ono, not hired by the Gators as their president, vetoed by the Florida Board of Governors for the first time. And Jay's obviously up in Ann Arbor. He's close to the situation. I know he's got some thoughts about that. Trevor Harris from QAM at 8:05. We'll talk with him. I don't know if he produced the game last night. The Panthers, game 1 lost to Edmonton, but we'll find out. I'm sure he's groggy, but we get him up out of bed like we usually do at 8:05. By the way, the Hurricane baseball team is in Louisville as we speak. Saw them working out today. Or saw them working out. Maybe it wasn't Louisville. I saw them working out, and I think they leave for Louisville today, and they will have game 1 tomorrow of the Super Regionals, starting at 3 o'clock on ESPN2, I believe. So we get to that. We get some other college football news as well. Joe says Red Sox will break cards again this year. Cora needs to be replaced as they need a big bat in the lineup. Devers is not clutch. Joe, there's a couple of flaws in your statement. First of all, nobody's heartbroken, because to be heartbroken, you have to be a good team, and you have to be well managed, and you have to be at the top of the division or close to it, and then fall flat on your face and miss the playoffs by like a game or something like that. This team is not a bunch of heartbreakers. You know why, Joe? And I'm just being talked, but because they don't have any heart. Most of these players don't, other than Duran, and it's technically not their fault. It's because Cora has put them in positions to lose. They got extremely lucky yesterday in what they did. Breslow, the same thing. The whole organization is responsible for this absolute debacle. Devers, that swing in the dirt yesterday that he had with the bases loaded was just awful. And I know he's been hitting pretty good the last month and a half or so, but in clutch situations like that, you're right, Joe. He's been terrible. But we'll get into that. Let's say good morning to Angel Martinez. Good morning, Angel.
Good morning, Senor Pete. Hey, by the way, did you know there was this game with 2 sticks that look like hockey sticks, and there's a round thing called a puck and a couple of goals at the end? I wonder what they call that these days. It rhymes with let's see, Stanley Cup final.
Rhymes with jockey. It's called hockey. And no, again, I sent on Sportsman like I just troll them and purposely troll them. Maybe one day they don't have the balls to put anything up, So I always say, I'll do your job for you at 7 o'clock. I'll come on and talk about the lead story. And they continue to just bring up the fact. And Chris Canty's another one who's a big Laker guy, allegedly. Let's talk about how the Knicks and their brand and everything. Fuck the Knicks. The Knicks are irrelevant. They are so irrelevant. You people think because, the NBA is better with the Knicks in it and the Lakers in it. I think those days are gone. I think the league is about players, and I'm sorry, yeah. I mean, you can throw out there all you want about having the number 1 and number 2 markets in, and how tough it is to play in New York, and all that stuff. Blah 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 blah. Look, man, when your team sucks and has for a few decades, and because you got. You got to the Eastern Conference Finals and you acted like jackasses, your fans, about getting there after you beat the Celtics like you'd won the title. You won squat. Nobody's going to the water cooler every single day and going, God, I got to watch Knicks basketball. The only thing that's going to be the subject is how many people turn down that job as head coach because they don't want to deal with your fucking team's inadequacies and your shitty owner, Jim Dolan. And it's going to take a crap load of money, which with taxes in New York, you only get about half. To lure somebody. There's a lot of people I've already heard that have turned the job down. But we'll see. Good luck to the next coach over there. If anybody thinks the Knicks are going to be as good without Tom Thibodeau next year, who did more with that team in 5 years that he was there than in the last 25 years of that organization, you're crazy. Ain't going to happen. But keep saying that they're a brand and people care. Nobody cares outside of New York. Nobody. They just don't. Only you people in Bristol care about it. But we move on. Great game last night. Edmonton over Panthers 4-3. This was a good one. The Panthers were down. We'll give you the highlights right now. The Panthers were down 1-0, and then they came back. Let's just play all the highlights for you, right? They're down 1-0, but here comes actually, let me play all the goals. Let me just find them here. If we have them all. We should have them all. Anyway, let's go to, we'll go to, it's 1-0 Edmonton, all right? And then Sam Bennett ties it up in the first period.
Away, rolled off his stick. Chased down by Matthew Tkachuk. Into the slot for Hagee. Scores!
Let's keep an eye on this. Bennett was in the blue paint. How did he get there?
Yep, that tied the game at 1. And then let's move along to period number 2. Sam Bennett scores again.
The puck down. Across it comes for a shot by Bennett. He scores! His second of the night. The Panthers now lead 3-1.
Yep, Brad Marchand had a goal within there as well. Let's head to the third period where Ekholm ties the game at 3.
The return for McDavid out in front. Score! Ekholm!
And how about that? Ekholm tied it, McDavid on the dish there. And then it was really interesting because between the second and third period intermission, Wayne Gretzky, by the way, his hair was quite poofed. I've never seen Wayne Gretzky's hair look like that. It looked like it cost him about $100,000 to get that haircut. I almost didn't recognize him last night on TNT, but he straight up predicted McDavid's third period game-tying assist.
Smothering them, they're playing them really smart. They're playing the Rick Tocchet defense. They got that forward in the middle. They're giving him outside. Connor's going to have to take it around the net or stop up and hit the late guy because they're cutting everything up going to the net.
Call him now.
Nostradamus.
Move aside. I got a new player in town
Actually,
now.
this is between third period and overtime.
Let me tell you something. That's called luck because he's the best player in the world. He knows what he's doing. I just got lucky with that statement.
You're tire pumped online now, too.
The 50-50 was like a huge number here. We all could have gotten rich. You could have picked, look at you. You could have picked our numbers. We'd all retire tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't even think of growing a beard that
That's the greatest playoff beard you've ever had.
No,
right there.
ever. Mine was a Wild West beard, a lot of open spots.
We'll get to a picture of Wayne Gretzky or a thing, but let me, Angel, if we could scroll down. This is the sequence, the game winner. It's right under Alex Cora, under Awful announcing this on TNT last night. Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk, and Brian Boucher with the call. The game winner, Leon Draisaitl, and the Oilers win game 1. Let's roll it, baby.
All right. Hang on. Goodness gracious. I know why this is up there because yesterday we were sharing some other stuff. Hang on, folks.
That's all right. Stand by. Processing.
Yeah.
Processing.
Hey, how come you're not going away? Play nice.
Processing.
Hang on. Goodness gracious. Take this away. Now, here we go for real.
There we go.
Here's McDavid. Out for Nugent Hopkins. Now to the point, Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins with it. Here's McDavid. Oh, that's right! Score! Leon Draisaitl! The Oilers win game one!
Toronto, that's how you win. That's how you win a Stanley Cup final. And that's Stanley Cup.
Well, the aggressive penalty kill of the Florida Panthers, where you remember earlier, Bruce talked about how passive they had been. But here they get really aggressive. And all of a sudden, Perry makes a great pass to McDavid, and McDavid returns the favor over to Draisaitl. Nobody in front of the net with Draisaitl, but I think, Bruce, that has to do with the aggressiveness of that penalty kill on that particular power play and penalty kill for the Florida Panthers.
Totally agree, Edzo. In the first part of this power play, the killers that were out there for Florida were very passive. New group comes out, they thought they could pressure them with the way that they typically do it. And if there's one team in the NHL that can expose that aggressiveness, it's the Edmonton Oilers. Case in point with that game winner here in overtime.
I mean, two unbelievable plays. The Corey Perry play to just bump it to McDavid, McDavid supporting him, and then all of a sudden the breakdown of being aggressive as Barkov leaves the front of the net, and McDavid makes a play.
I've never been a dresser upper, even before I got in the media. I've never been a dress. I mean, wear a Red Sox hat or a T-shirt or a Celtics T-shirt or something. I've never been one to dress up. I wasn't like Putty and Seinfeld. I wasn't a face painter for the Devils, the New Jersey Devils. And by the way, after that episode, their memorabilia stuff went up like 8,000%. Back in the day, and they were a pretty good team back then, as well as most of you know. But I've never been a face painter, a stomach painter. Just a hat and T-shirt type of guy. That's about it. How about you, Angel? You were like a Philly fanatic. I mean, before you got into the media, did you dress up for games or compelled to paint your face or other body parts to enhance the experience? You got to support the team.
No, other than it all depends on obviously the team. Their T-shirt, jersey was more of when I'm doing a jersey and a hat. Only one time did I end up doing my hair red, and that was when the Phillies ended up going to the World Series in 2008. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was the company I was working for
against Tampa.
Yeah,
in the rain. Remember that game?
Yep, it sure was. And we had to move it for 2 days, and finally got it back again on Thursday. And then they went right into it. There was the debate was, do they want to do the national anthem? They didn't, because it was already done, and this was just a long, elongated rain delay. But I did end up doing my hair red. And unfortunately, I thought it was the stuff that you can basically spray and then, go in the shower and wash it off. Yeah. No, apparently not. It was just stuff that lasted for about 3 weeks. Yeah. So when I'm going to visit clients, they were looking at me like, is there something wrong with you, sir? I was like, no, it's for the Phillies. It was just, it's just a long story. But anyways, that's the only time that I've ever done so. But other than that, I've never done a face painting. Matter of fact, my wife even asked me, do you do that stuff when we first started going out? I'm like, no, I don't do the face painting. I don't go all that crazy nonsense. It's not me. Love the fans.
I don't fault people that do it. I just was never. It was never my. None of my friends really did it either, because it just a T-shirt and a hat is enough. I don't want to be bothered. The only time I don't put paint on my face was back when I was a kid, dressing up as Kiss Halloween. I had special Kiss makeup.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, no.
Joe, since you're making comments, I wonder if Joe ever did that, or does he do just the regular jerseys and hats as well?
Yeah, Putty was a face painter, not Puffy, but Putty. Yeah, that's what I said on Seinfeld, the New Jersey, the Devils. All right, Angel, we could scroll down underneath, and let's see. Let's start with Paul Maurice right here, head coach of the Florida Panthers, and talked about being down 0-2 to Toronto, so this loss is not going to affect this team, according to him.
Tough break for Thomas, ends up being critical. As a coach, What do you say to him in a moment like that? Do you
Just remind him after the game of being down 0-2 to Toronto, and that line came in and changed everything for us, and how we're not here without Thomas Snow. So it's a tough break. So we just make sure he doesn't eat alone tonight. He's got lots of people sitting at his table and reminding him of how good he's been to us. And it's going to be tough when he's going to eat that one for a day. But he's, from his penalty kill to, again, that line really changed the flow of that Toronto series. Just we'll remind him of that a whole bunch of times before the puck drops.
Yeah, in case you wonder, he's talking about Tomas Nosek's penalty for putting the puck over the glass. Unfortunately, he didn't mean to do it. And Draisaitl's goal, 19-29 into overtime, sent the Edmonton fans home in a frenzy, and the Oilers take a 1-0 lead. Remember, last year they're down 3-0. Angel, if we could scroll down a couple again to NHL on TNT, Leon Draisaitl with a huge Game 1 performance, and he chatted after the game with Darren Pang.
Well, Leon, congratulations. Obviously, Game 1, very exciting. After what happened last year and losing in 7, what did you think some of the differences were here in Game 1 for you guys, as resilient as you were?
I think just a little bit more mature. Obviously, every game writes its own story, but I thought we hung in there. We're mature, and obviously we just needed one look and capitalize on that.
At any point, especially in the third and in overtime, did you find that they weren't finding their legs and you guys smelt a little blood? It looks like you really took it to them there.
I don't know. I mean, I think we had our push. I think they had their little push in overtime. I think at the end of the third, our legs started to come a little bit. But I thought it was a fairly even game.
Leon, the play that was made on the game winner in overtime, Connor McDavid makes the pass, but the first guy he goes to is Corey Perry, because I was right behind the net watching it. Does that just tell you about the entire team and the little plays that make a difference in a game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm standing there capitalizing on this, but it's what happens over there. That's 4 great hockey plays in a row, right? That's what our team's all about. We get excited for each other, and we never quit. So very, very fortunate to be part of this great group.
Well, you can really tell that with your group and the harmony. One more for you, Leon. You're without Zach Hyman. Everybody knows that, and that's a big part of your forecheck and physicality and character. The coach says, well, we need some right wingers to step up. Kapanen's one of the stars of the game. Corey Perry makes the great play. Arvidsson scores a big goal, and Connor Brown was significant in this game. What can you say about just the depth and the guys that stepping up when you need it most?
Yeah, I mean, they've done it all run, honestly. Our depth has won us a crazy amount of hockey games in the last couple of months here. They're all going to get a little bit more time, and they're all going to, get their looks a little bit more. So I think they're all excited. Obviously, we're going to miss Heimo. There's no secret about that. But I think we got the guys in here to, compensate in a way.
Leon, thanks for doing this. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, good job. The Edmonton Oilers 1-0, and no one's going to count the Panthers out. Again, I picked the Oilers in this one in 6. But I will not be surprised if the Florida Panthers win yet another Stanley Cup. This team has been resilient. You saw it again last night, down 1-0. A lot of teams in that situation, in that environment, would have packed it in. They come out, they take a 3-1 lead. And I really thought that when they were up 3-1, I'm like, that's it. They're going to shut everybody down. They're not going to be able to. Edmonton's not going to be able to, they might get it to 1 goal. And I figured then Florida would score an empty netter and win the game 42. But no, it was just an unbelievable game, back and forth, back and forth. Joe says, Pete, what will it take for the Bruins to be competitive again? Look, let's wait and see what happens in the draft. Let's wait and see what happens, who the new coach is going to be, whether it's Sturm or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't know what free agents are going to sign. I'll have a better idea in about another month. Let's put it that way. I mean, competitive. Can they get back into the playoff hunt next year? Yeah, absolutely. They freaking better. They freaking better be back in the playoffs next year. But there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. So, and maybe a philosophy change in the organization. Don Sweeney signed his extension, so that put a lot of rumors to rest that he was going to leave to go be the manager of Team Canada. Like he was with John Cooper, the coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, but that's not going to happen. So he's staying with the Bruins, but we shall see. If we could scroll one up, Angel. Now, this is, usually you have NBA on TNT shenanigans. I'm trying to figure this out. Paul Bissonnette and Gretzky had an interesting discussion, had nothing to do with hockey. And I still kind of don't know what Biz is talking about. But first of all, look at Gretzky's hair, which is so poofed up. I can't believe it. I've never seen his hair like that ever. And as a player or a broadcaster. And then, I don't know, Angel, you might have to help me figure this out. Go ahead. Here's a conversation between Gretzky and Biz.
Pink Pony, is that a band or is that a song?
It's a woman. She sings a song, Pink Pony Club, and it's famous. It's on the radio. And,
Canadian, American?
I think it's an American girl, but all of a sudden it popped off. I believe she won a few Grammys, and now they're rocking it in the locker room. So I'm curious.
Pony.
Pink Pony. It's the new generation, Wayne.
I gotta get that on my ringtone.
We're going
to
Pink Pony.
Yeah, now the headline says Biz trying to explain Chappelle Rowan to Wayne is going exactly how you thought. Is that her? I have no idea who that is. I don't know the song they're talking about. There's only one new song that I know on the radio over the last few weeks, and I've only heard it every time I put it on. It seems to come on, and that's "Abracadabra" by Lady Gaga, which I think is a great song, by the way. But do you know what they're talking about, Angel? I don't know these. I don't know these people. I don't know the song.
I don't know. Joe says the wig. The only thing that I saw was the one highlight that we were playing the clip beforehand. There was a kid that had My Little Pony, and then I think had Biz's face on there. But I've never.
Well, My Little Pony was a toy for girls back in the day.
But the Pink Pony, I've never freaking heard of it. I don't even know who the artist is.
I know Money, Money, Ride the Pony. You know that.
Yeah.
No, Chappelle Rowan, Chappellroan. I don't know who that is.
I don't know. Let's see if we can find out. But yeah, I've never heard of it until now. That's the first time I've heard it as well. So not a freaking clue.
All right, let's get back. The NBA Finals begin tonight with the Oklahoma City Thunder in a very raucous college-type atmosphere. In case you don't know, it is a pretty special place to play home games because that's all they got over there, that and Sooner football. But I want to scroll down just a couple, Angel, to NBA Central, and this is Adam Silver on FS1 yesterday talking about two small market teams. He tries to make it interesting. It's right under the show. It's like two down.
Go back.
Yep.
There it is.
There it is. Yep. So listen to what the commissioner has to say, and then we'll talk about it.
Oh, geez. This shall be interesting.
It's one thing I really admire about the NFL. I mean, if we were going into a Super Bowl and it was Packers against Steelers, you guys would be celebrating that. Those would be storied franchises. People wouldn't be talking about, the fact that Pittsburgh is a small market. So in fact, I'm happy whatever team ends up in the finals, but it's been intentional from our standpoint to create a system, a collective bargaining agreement that allows more teams to compete. And just by way of background, we're going to have to go through a process of getting to the point where people are accustomed to tuning into the finals because it's the two teams that deserve to be there and it's the best basketball. Similar to, again, with the Super Bowl, if I asked somebody if they were going to watch the Super Bowl, they wouldn't say who's playing. It's a national holiday. And now that's nirvana.
That's the goal.
I'm not saying we're anywhere close to that yet. There's still, if the Knicks are in the finals, there's a segment of our fan base that's going to watch that may not watch if it's other teams. But my job is to get people to love and follow this game. And so that if you're a huge basketball fan, you should want to tune into the finals because that's the best basketball.
Yeah, look, and again, he brings up the fucking Knicks. And yeah, but you can say that, bring that analogy up to any team, It doesn't matter. You think a lot of Philadelphia fans are going to be tuning in to Indiana and Oklahoma City? And no, I agree with the commissioner on one point, that it's about these are the two best teams right now. They are. There's no getting around it. They've played the best. They both deserve to be there. I don't care. For me personally, I don't care what markets they're at. He says, if the Knicks were in it, it'd bring a bigger fan base because it's under the delusion that, and I know like Celtics, Lakers, 76ers, Knicks, those four teams probably have more of a maybe national following, but I think that stuff is kind of dwindling, to be honest with you. I really do. And yeah, having the Knicks in the number one market would increase ratings. Yeah, I guess so. But how many people are down here? How many people in Florida do you think are going to be tuning into this in Miami, the Miami market? How about like zero? I think it's going to be the lowest NBA Finals in a long, long time. And it has nothing to do with the players or which I am hoping is going to be an exciting 7-game series. It has to do with people's perception of brands. It used to be when we did sports talk show. I mean, you want your team to be in it, whatever market you're in, but you'd still sit there and be able to talk Oklahoma City and Indiana, and it was more about the players and the storylines than it is about markets. Now all ESPN does, and Fox and some of those, all they do is they try to, I call it brand washing. And I think people are too smart to fall for it because they think if they talk about the Knicks and the Lakers enough, that it'll make you want to go and be compelled to watch them. It doesn't. I think those days are done. I think the NBA overall, the rating, they can talk about, look, they just signed a huge, $7 billion deal. Depending on what you read and who you believe, the ratings are up, the ratings are down. This is going to be the lowest NBA finals rating in a long time. I'll be watching most every minute, and I'll be watching almost every minute unless there's some 30, 40, 50-point blowout.
Right.
But Adam Silver, don't ever bring up the NFL or college football. There are tons of college football teams in quote-unquote small markets and really, really small markets. They all do well. The NFL and college football, the NFL is number 1, college football is 1A, and then it's everybody else. That's just the way it is. Football is king in this country. It is not baseball. It's not the American pastime. It hasn't been for 20-something years. It is the NFL, and it is college football. That's what it is. And it doesn't matter if you're in Tuscaloosa or you're in Nashville or you're in Boston or you're in Tennessee or Philadelphia or Hawaii or Idaho or Montana or South Dakota. The NFL is king. And college football is not too far behind, and in some cases ahead of some NFL markets, depending on where you are. Say Charlotte, for example, or something like that. It just is. And, I promise you, the North Carolina TCU game, that opening game coming up, and I believe it on the holiday weekend, and they're the only ones playing that night, I believe. Bill Belichick and company going up against TCU. That will have that one game, because everybody in the world is going to be tuned into that, is going to have a higher rating, that one game, than any one NBA Finals game this year. Mark it down. Mark my word. The Miami-Notre Dame game will have double what Game 1 has tonight of the NBA Finals. Double it. Mark my word, double it. That game is going to be huge around the country. Notre Dame and Miami going at it in Game 1. It'll be absolutely huge. That's the way it is, Commissioner. I don't know how. And at least he said, well, we're not there yet. You're never going to be there. Neither will baseball, and neither will the NHL. You got to know and stay in your lanes. What the NBA has got to stop doing, and people on ESPN and to a degree, some of the people on FS1 and Fox, stop pretending like people care so much about the Knicks and the Lakers. They don't. It is not this like in their respective markets they do, but people around the Midwest or in Montana or here in Florida or whatever, not going, God, man, I hope the Lakers, with the exception of the transplants, obviously, are not going, oh my God, I hope the Knicks and the Lakers really get back on track. Because that's what the NBA needs. Nobody cares. They want the Miami Heat to get back on track. I want my Celtics to stay. Of course, it's a different thing. And, the Celtics will be back in it next year. They'll be one of the top 4 teams. I have no doubt they'll be back in it next year. You got to take in consideration, and what ESPN fails to do all the time is, and I've said it all the time, they're not on a lot of big 50,000-watt Clear Channel stations. Their affiliates are all on small, dinky, medium to small market stations. That's where they are. And most of the time, they don't pick up all of the programming. You have to pick up some of it, but not all of it. And the ones that they are on a bigger station in New York, and a couple of other markets. Like I said, when they were down here at 99.3, it was 50,000 watt. It was one of their biggest affiliates they've had. But most of them are like 1,000-watt stations, 5,000 watt at the most. Sometimes the wattage goes down at night on AM stations, and even some of their FM stations. And they think they're only broadcasting to 2 markets, New York and Los Angeles. It is such a art of failure and laziness in radio and national TV stuff that they do. They just think it moves the needle where it doesn't. They're wrong. And then Stephen A. Smith comes out yesterday, Angel, and what do we need? more Stephen A. on the radio, 2 shows on Sirius XM. One's going to be sports-oriented, and one's going to be political and entertainment-based. Click, click. As if you need more of this guy. The only good news I've heard about ESPN, and I'll believe it when I see it, is the new NBA on TNT show, which is moving to ESPN next year, is going to be shot out of Atlanta. And allegedly, what I read yesterday is they're going to treat it like the Pat McAfee show, which is hands off, and just let those guys, let Ernie and Shaq and Kenny and Chuck do exactly what they have been doing. But I'll believe that when I see it. They start shoving Stephen A. down my throat again, and Perkins and all that crap for that show. It's going to be terrible. Now, there's no doubt, and Chuck's brought this up, they're going to want to have Chuck or Kenny or Shaq on the other minutia, pedantic, blathering NBA shows that they have on, from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. It's all the same stuff. I'm sure they're going to want, because Perkins not going like the NBA on ESPN. He's going to stay where he is and make a fool out of himself. And then Barkley will make more of a fool out of him once he starts hammering him on some of these shows like First Take and Get Up. But at least that's a good sign that they are not going to mess with that show, allegedly going to treat it like the Pat McAfee show, as they should. What's that?
No, he asked if there's any guests coming up. He said this. Well, Joe first said you can probably.
Yeah, Trevor Harris, WQAM at 8:05. Jay Flanley from Beaves World at 8:30, and John Meter Perrell will join me at 9:05 a.m. All right, let's take a quick break, Angel. When we come back, we'll tell you what happened in the Major League Baseball yesterday. An unbelievable, historic run by the Colorado Rockies this year. The Red Sox get off on a cheapie. The Phillies lose a tight one, and the Giants overcome a huge deficit. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show. I do want to tell you, Phil Castanetti Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. And you want to, they got another big event coming up at the Kowloon, which is a famous Chinese restaurant up in the Boston area, 948 Broadway in Saugus. Sports World presents Boston Bruins goalie Jeremy Swayman at the Kowloon. That's Sunday, July 27th from noon to 2 p.m. There'll be autographs available, and phone orders are welcome. Very limited. Call 781-233-7222 or get on down there to Phil Castanetti Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus, 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. All right, we're back with more shenanigans here, an MLB rundown, some NFL and college football news as well, right here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. You can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/one-small-step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Yeah, Yankee fans, you know what that's like, having those cheapy right field home runs. Okay. Now, you don't see around the pesky pole, I mean literally around the pesky pole, which used to say 299 feet, and I still believe it is that. But apparently, that was the shortest walk-off in MLB history, allegedly 308 feet. I disagree. I think it was more like 300 feet, right into that lady's lap. It went. And the Red Sox come back after down once again yesterday, down 4-0 to start. And the first inning, they came back and scored 5 at the bottom of the first. Then they gave up, Giolito gave up another 3. He has sucked donkey, you know what. He has been awful. Giolito gave up 8 hits and 7 earned runs, walked 1, struck out 1. Incredibly, an inning and 2/3, just what the Red Sox did. An inning and 2/3. His ERA is up to 6.42. But the Red Sox come back and win on that home run yesterday, 11-9. They rally and win. They have the day off today, and then off to New York they go to take on the first place Yankees. After the game yesterday, if we could scroll down a little bit. It was scroll down to Nesson. The dugout went nuts. Here is Alex Cora. It's about 3 down, Angel. There's a couple of Cora, but it's about 3. The dugout went nuts. This is Alex Cora, Red Sox skipper, after the game. That's it.
What was the feeling when the dugout went when Rafael hit that ball? So usually when they hit it down the line, everybody screams pesky, and sometimes he's begging for one. You cannot tell, like if it's going to be fair or foul, and then we saw the call and they went nuts, I mean, obviously we needed that one, but we needed to finish there too. We needed that, so.
We talked about full side power before the game, but to have it happen that way, okay.
100%, just it's Fenway, right? And hopefully this gets us going, but, to say that we needed this one, is an understatement. I think a lot of close games and they go the other way. I'm tired of telling Ramon in the 8th when, like, here we go again. It's the same game. It's the same script, right? So hopefully we can change it now.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. Absolutely feel a lot better. Fair is foul and foul is fair. When will we 3 witches meet again in lightning, thunder, and in rain? You know where that's from?
Damn it. It's
Shakespeare.
Oh, son of a bitch.
No, son of a bitch is not in Shakespeare. You have to see the footnotes for that. Opening for Macbeth. So you don't get that kind of, I hear fair is foul, foul is fair. I immediately go back to sophomore year reading Macbeth and still remembering many passages which we had to write essays about back in the day. That was real education back then, in high school, by the way. I talked to a couple of people down here who go to high school in Southwest Florida and everywhere else, and they don't even touch any of the classics. You never hear anything about Dickens or Shakespeare or anything else. What a shame. What a shame that some of these school systems, and not just here, but I'm sure around the country, don't even touch the classics anymore, like Shakespeare and Dickens and a lot of other people.
Yep.
Jack London, Robert Frost, other people that it's a shame. You're missing out.
Yep.
Anyway, we digress. Your history lesson. There's your English lesson for the day. Anyway, thanks for checking us out here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. That is Alex Cora. If we can scroll down, let me see, or is it scroll up? Scrolling down again, Angel, to Cedeno Rafaela. He hit the game-winning dinky shot yesterday, and he's on with Ness, and he is on the show with Jemai Webster, who is the sideline reporter for the Red Sox. He talks to Rafaela about his dinky 308-foot allegedly home run.
All right, thank you, Dave. Well, 308 feet just around the pesky pole. What's going through your mind when you connect with that ball and you see it in the air?
I think when I hit it, I knew I hit it good, but I was just hoping it to stay fair. Like, to Toro can get on third and me on second, you have a chance there, but thankfully it went over.
That's a home run for you on 3 straight nights.
Right in the lap.
What is it about your approach lately that's allowing you to see these type of results?
I think not give up. Like, if I have my first, second ABs, I don't get a hit. Stick with the plan and stick with my approach and trust it, because I have big ABs coming late in the game.
That was your second career at bat against Burke. How much did you lean on that history with your approach there?
Yeah, there I was just looking for a pitch to do a good swing.
Last few nights it's been tough. You guys have made a rally, but not able to push through the threshold. How satisfying is this victory to get one against the Angels?
Yeah, it was a tough day, but we battled. That's what it is about. Battle through the end, and we got the win.
Sit down. Thanks a lot for the help, man. Appreciate the time, and great swing.
Appreciate it.
All right, back upstairs, UOB. He hit his hardest hit ball of his career just the other day. And how about that for baseball?
Yeah, he blasted a home run the other day. And that one that's as dinky as it gets. But, if you're the Red Sox, you take it. I'm not getting overly excited about it. They got the day off. They go to New York, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't expect them to win the series. I expect them to be swept. I expect them to lose at least 2 out of 3. And Alex Cora got a little lucky yesterday. But it's just – I give them a little credit for rallying. They were down 4-0 early. Could have packed it in. They scored 5 at the bottom of the first. But I can't sit here and get overly excited about that win. I'm glad they won, but,
I'm going to get on the phone today with Alex. We're going to have a nice conversation. We have a couple of mojo points, and you guys are going to go, you're going to win the next 9 out of 10 after my call with him today.
Washington blanks the Cubs 2-0. Detroit got by the White Sox 5-4 after being up 4-0 in the first and then hanging on. And then, really, forget the Stanley Cup final. Forget the NBA finals. It really is unbelievable what has happened to the Colorado Rockies.
For a 2-2 pitch to Wagaman. Bouncing ball to third. McMahon's got it. Sets, throws, ball game. The Rockies not only get a series win in Miami, their first sweep of the year. The bullpen so huge in all 3 wins. Final score here this afternoon. Kyle Freeland's first win of the year. Rockies 3, Miami 2.
People don't know who Mike Trout is. Who the hell are these people that play for Colorado? Oh my God. So the attendance went from 500 something yesterday because I divided it by 10. It said 5,000, like 500. There could not have been more than 200 people at that game yesterday. Couldn't have been. Impossible. More than 200 people at that game.
How do you spend $1 billion on a stadium and can't even fill it except for maybe opening day?
Fill it. And the only time they get anybody there is the Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, or Dodgers. That is it. Phillies, maybe Phillies too. That's it. And that's saying a couple of thousand. You know how much it costs just to turn the electricity on over there?
Exactly. By the way, speaking of, as you mentioned that, the team here locally, once again, will have yet another meeting today to figure out how we're going to put more money into the repairs of Tropicana Field that, mind you, is going to be torn down in, 2 years to 3 years from now. So
I have the perfect solution. I tweeted this to somebody yesterday. Just move the Marlins and the Rays to Montreal. They can both share the stadium, and they can share the stadium and just be done with it. You're wasting time in both markets.
So since originally Montreal wanted them to become the X-Rays, would it become then the Mar Rays?
Yeah, better yet, combined teams. I know one's in the American, one's in the National, but why not? Combined teams. I mean, how many Marlins season ticket holders do you think there are?
4.
Now, there are probably a lot of Tampa ones this year because they're playing in that small bandbox of a stadium down the street from Ray J. But but how many Marlins season ticket holders, I wonder, and I'm sure what they say on paper is different than the ones that actually show up. I mean, maybe we could look it up during the break. I'd love to know how much a Marlins baseball ticket goes.
$2.
You must be able to get $2, $5. Day of game. Who is going to pay face value for a ticket day of game? I mean, they should be letting people in for free, honestly. I mean, it is embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing to see, 200, 300 people in a Major League Baseball stadium. What a joke.
And Philly used to be, right, where, for example, Eagles game, even for the Phillies games, you have your scalpers. Everybody knows who they are. It's nothing new. So the minute they would tell you, listen, I get you this face value, blah, blah, this, that, and the other, right? All right, no, listen, okay, I'll make a deal with you. $100, 2 tickets, they're good, you can get in, right? The minute you give the $100 and you look back, let's just say at Citizens Bank Park, you look back again, like, where the hell did he go? Now the scalpers are doing a reverse thing. Now they're going up there to Marlins Park and they're saying, listen, $2, I'll lower it down to $1 and I will watch you walk to the gate. I don't have to run away anymore because they're legitimate tickets.
I mean, it is like, it's just, It's just unbelievable. And I tell everybody this. I've been telling everybody for years. If you want to really go to a game, I don't care what it is, and the bigger the game, the more trepidation scalpers have. If you want to wait till right before kickoff or right before first pitch or right before or a couple minutes in, I can tell you this for you baseball people out there, and I believe they're still doing this. You know, the wives and everybody, I'm talking about just a major league park. The wives and everybody get the seats and family members, the tickets that are left by the players at the box office. You know, they're all really good seats. They're like in the first 4 or 5 rows. It could be behind the dugout. It could be behind home plate. It could be behind a lot of plate. If you wait till right before the game starts, and I'll just say this for baseball, and you wait till about 2 minutes before the game starts, all the tickets that the players, and there's lots of them that were not used by either family or friends that the players left, get redistributed to the box office. So you can get a really good seat at face value, sometimes even a little less if you go to the ticket window. You know, and you know, you're not going to do that for a Marlins game, but for, you know, Fenway in New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, the best way to get a ticket, if you don't have it, and you want a really good seat and you're willing to pay a little bit extra, and not from a scalper, just wait right before first pitch. The tickets are about 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before. All the tickets from the players that are not used are re-released into the box office. So that's a little trick for the trade. NFL is a little different. I'm talking strictly from a scalper. You just wait till right before kickoff. Trust me, the price will go way down unless you're adamant about seeing the opening kickoff. If you want to wait a minute or two right before kickoff, and by the time you get into the stadium, you're probably into the first series, depending on how many commercials are run. But that's a good tip. Just wait right before kickoff, and scalpers will lower the prices for any game. Happens all the time. Anyway, there's your little tip for the day. Toronto and Philadelphia in a nail biter.
1-2 again. Fastball hit high and deep, right center. And off the wall, and the Blue Jays win it. Alejandro Kirk has done it again.
The captain.
He delivers a game-winning hit off.
Alejandro Kirk. That's a cool name. I like
Sure.
that. I like that. Toronto beats Philadelphia 2-1. Milwaukee over Cincinnati by a score of 9-1. Arizona, Atlanta 2-1. And Tampa Bay in Texas here is, Tampa Bay ends up winning that game 5-4. Kansas City and St. Louis postponed. Baltimore over Seattle by a score of 3-2. San Fran was down in this one 5-0. And then they came, all the way back.
Down the line, hit well, and up against the wall. 1 run scored, 2 run scored. Stopping at third is Fitzgerald, into second. Ramos. This game is tied.
Yes, thanks to the Sports Bay Area Network for that. Minnesota just continues to play great baseball.
What he wanted to throw. And Bader unloads to left field. Down the line, deep in the corner. Back it goes, and that is gone. Harrison Bader, tape measure blast down the left field line. It is 6th, and the Twins now have a 3-0 lead.
And Bader went crafting right there.
MLB TV, thanks for the call. I think Minnesota's 58,001 versus the A's over the last few seasons. They just pummel them, absolutely pummel them. And Rocco Baldelli, my man, and the Twins continue to win 6-1. That's my new favorite team. Mets over the Dodgers last night by a score of 6-1 as well.
And he drives this one to deep left field. Forget that. That is way up in the pavilion. Pete Alonso with his second of the night, a 3-run bomb. And he doubles the Mets. Lead it is 6-0 New York. Have a night. 22nd career multiple home run game for Alonso, a 5 RBI night, and that was crushed. He got a high cheddar.
Yes, he did. He had a solo shot earlier in the game of the first, and the Mets go on to hammer the Dodgers by a score of 6-1. Other baseball news: MLB's automatic ball strike challenge system likely coming in 2026. That'll be something. All right, before we go to break, the Angels still ecstatic about Saquon Barkley being on the cover of the new Madden game. Well, the trailer is out, so you're going to have to refresh, Angel. It's right under the show. It's 2 down. Right under Rick Carlisle, which maybe we'll get to, maybe we won't. But EA Sports has released the Madden 26 official trailer. What's going to be really cool about this, Scott Hansen, of Red Zone, right? He's great. He's going to be doing like halftime and player updates. This is going to be really, really. I may have to get it again. But here's the trailer. Those of you who haven't seen it, this looks awesome.
Conditions remain in effect as we are back for the second half. That looks absolutely awesome.
It sure does. Even the one for college football is going to be terrific. It's going to be terrific. Now, by the way, do they have a copy for Cowboys fans in the VCR edition? Because the only highlight they saw all season is going to be just there. And so, they're still stuck in the VCR era. They'll get there one day.
We'll see. All right, Angel, take a quick break. Trevor Harris from WQAM is going to join us. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Florida Panthers, see if he produced the game last night. I'm not sure if he did or not. If he did, he's going to be very tired, but that's okay. We get him out of bed on Thursday mornings. We'll have that and a whole lot more. Jay Flannelly, bottom of the next hour from Beeves World. Got a lot of college football and NFL news to talk about. John Meter-Perrell could talk about everything with him, the BC football play-by-play and ACC Network play-by-play voice. And he did his podcast recently that included Mike Vrabel. So that we'll look forward to hearing about that as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Leads the NHL. Here's Rodriguez. Back out for Smith. Cross ice. Score! Marchand gives Florida their first lead of the series. Connecting on the power play. Here's McDavid. Out in front. Score! Leon Draisaitl. The Oilers win game one.
Great job from TNT last night. NHL TNT. Kenny Alberti, Olchek, Brian Boucher with the call. Panger, Darren Pang as well on the sideline. And with that, a great Game 1 game. Unfortunately for the Florida Panthers, they come back down 1-0. They're up 3-1. I really thought they were going to take it and get a victory, but it was not meant to be. Give the Oilers a lot of credit. They did something they could not do until Game 4 last year, which was win a game in the Stanley Cup Final against the Panthers, but they get it done last night. Great game, unbelievable atmosphere. Draisaitl scored on the power play in overtime. Skinner made 29 saves. The Tomas Nosek penalty sucked for putting the puck over the glass inadvertently. That was bad. Well, that we welcome producer, host extraordinaire from WQAM in Miami. This is Trevor Harris. How are you, young man? Did you have to produce the game last night?
No, I am producing Game 4 actually, so because I have to skip town for Game 3 actually. So I am my first game is
you on the lam again?
Huh?
You skipping town? You on the lam again?
Yeah, I got to go back on the plane for something. So me and my dad have to meet up for some stuff anyways. So say that. So, I was able to watch it from my couch for the first time in a while. So my buddy Vlad was doing it, and I was watching this as like when they tied it up. We're like, "Wow, this is going to overtime." And my buddy texted me, "He's like, please don't make this go to overtime." I'm like, it's going to overtime. I'm sorry. So
I thought it almost went double.
I know. I was ready for double overtime. I was on the couch the whole time over there. It's like I was looking around. I was like, I got goldfish from Pepperidge Farm. I got one of my drinks, and I'll be good to go anyway. So
yeah, there's only 31 seconds left in the overtime period, if I remember correctly. So yeah, but it was a great game. And again, once again, though, the Panthers resilient, Edmonton resilient too, but down 1-0 early. About a couple minutes in, minute and a half in. And then they did come storming back with the next three. Absolutely unbelievable. I really thought that game was going to end up 4-2. I figured empty netter, no way Edmonton's going to get back in this game. But Edmonton is resilient as well. Look what they did in their first round series against the Kings and what they have done thus far this year. So I think this is going 7 games. It should be a tremendous series. I did pick Edmonton at 6. Reluctantly, I did pick Edmonton at 6, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Panthers win. But what a hell of a first game 1 in the Stanley Cup final.
Yes.
Great stuff.
I got to give it to Leon Draisaitl for showing up on the score sheet for for those 2 goals, because he was not on the score sheet at all during the last year's Cup final. Nope. And there's a lot of tight buttholes around WQAM because they were like, oh, it's Connor McDavid, and I'm waiting for like, you know what? I wonder what everyone's going to say today. It's like, oh, maybe just 1 game. It's like, listen, you're going against the best player on the planet anyway. So
Gretzky called the assist in between the third period and overtime.
Yes.
What's up with Wayne's hair? Is that a toupee? I don't know. Did you see how poofed his hair was?
I'm trying to. I have not thought of that, but we may have to open up the Pete Sheppard Show investigation crew right now.
Andrew, can we play that thing when he's maybe Trevor knows this song. Because they had a little discussion, he and Biz. Angel, we could play that video again.
Oh, the song?
Yeah, hang on a second. We'll get to it. Again, NHL and TNT, Biz trying to explain Chappelle, Rowan to Wayne going exactly how you thought. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, see, I don't. Let's just play the cut and then we'll discuss.
It's all good.
Processing.
Pink Pony, is that a band or is that a song?
It's a woman. She sings the song Pink Pony Club, and it's famous. It's on the radio. And,
Canadian? American?
I think it's an American girl, but all of a sudden it popped off. I believe she won a few Grammys, and now they're rocking it in the locker room. So I'm curious.
Pony.
Pink Pony. It's the new generation, Wayne.
I gotta get that on my ringtone.
We're gonna
Pink Pony. Is that
2 questions. One, is he wearing a toupee? I've never seen Wayne Gretzky's hair so properly coiffed like that.
Yes.
I don't know what song he's talking about. You're a younger guy, Trevor.
Okay.
Who the hell is Chappelle Rowan and what the fuck is Pink Pony? I know Ride the Pony from Money Money. I don't know about any of these or My Little Pony, the chick toy thing from back in the 80s. I don't know. What is going on here?
Her name is Chapel Ron. Chapel Ron is her name.
Chapel Ron.
Yes.
Not Chappelle Rowan.
Not Chappelle Rowan, which is even better, I like to say. Chapel Ron is American singer and songwriter. So the Pink Pony Club is a banger. It's not in my rotation. It's mostly a girl song. I heard it a lot when I was with my old significant
You say
other.
banger, that means hot, hip, gets people on the dance floor.
It would get people on the dance floor. It's always someone puts it at the bar.
Do we have that song, Angel? Do you have it? I know you looked it up during the break. I want to get a taste of this. See what this.
There's been
Chapel Hill, Chapel Ron, Pink Pony Club.
Yeah,
sounds like a softcore porn movie. Skinemax late night, maybe.
That's what I was about to say. That
Skinemax. Who is that?
I've never seen the music video actually.
Biker bar. Sounds like. I will spy it. You got a.
I know you wanted me to stay, but I can't ignore the crazy visions of me in LA.
It gets really
I heard that there's a special place
Feel free to
where
fast
boys and
forward 30
girls
seconds.
can all be queens every single day. I'm having wicked dreams of leaving Tennessee. If Santa Monica, I swear it's calling me. Won't make my mama proud, it's gonna cause a scene. She sees her baby girl, I know she's gonna scream. God, what have you done? You're a pink pony girl, and you dance
put
at
them on
the
the dance
club.
floor.
Oh,
Not in my club.
mama, I'm just
Country bar.
on the stage in my heels, it's where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
The Pink Pony Club is like the river
Dancing down in West Hollywood.
West
I'm
Hollywood.
gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony
That's enough. I'm not impressed. And it doesn't do it for me. I
I
like Lady
heard
Gaga's
this
new
song way
song.
too much when I was in Dallas in the holidays. So
Really? I like Lady Gaga's new song, Abracadabra.
yes, that's a banger.
That gets people going.
Yes, but that one is also like big and like I heard it a lot. At the
Chapel
bars.
Hill Roan does nothing for me. Sorry.
I think what's his face did a parody song of his Jim Murray when Stefan Diggs is the boat thing, a pink bag of drugs, and I just started like this is even better than Joe.
Jim on 98.5 The Sports Sub.
Yes, he did a parody of Pink Bag of Drugs. I was like, now when I think of that song, he's like Pink Bag of Drugs.
I never heard of the song, and maybe I have, and I just haven't. I just never heard of it. And I don't listen to pop music on the radio much anymore. In fact, I'm so inclined when I'm driving because it's such bad music out there, or it's the same in Southwest Florida, and I don't know it is in Miami, but over here, all the radio stations are all AC for the most part, or rock stations, but a lot of them are AC. I cannot tell you. You hear down here, you hear "Don't Stop Believing" every day. You hear Breakfast Club. You hear "Don't You Forget About Me" every single time. You hear a lot of Hall & Oates. It's like the same 10 Aha, Take On Me. It's like the same 10 songs over and over again on every single station. So I find myself going, Siri, play this, or Siri, play that, Siri, play this, because I just I can't take it.
I think down here in Florida, South Florida, actually, like if you're in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, there's a few pop stations, and there's like a few. The only problem is there's no rock station, so it's like you have an alternative rock, so it's like a lot of like Blink-182, Good Charlotte, like those bands and stuff on the alt station, but it's like.
Hey, good news. We'll get back to the Stanley Cup final in a second here. But good news, Stephen A. Smith is going to have 2 more shows on Sirius XM, and it's costing Michelle Beadle her position at Sirius XM, and she gave her unfiltered opinion on the situation. I don't know if you saw this to Michael McCarthy.
I did not see this, actually.
By the way, she said, quote, "It's a reminder we're just all pieces of shit to someone. If you forgot, there it is." Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I do this. It's all I do. I shit all over ESPN. And the only national show that to me is very, very good is Dan Patrick. Love Dan. I think it's excellent. All these other shows on ESPN and FS1 and Fox, overall, 99.9% of the time are an embarrassment. And what they think moves the needle, it only moves me to take a bowel movement. That's it. That's what it does.
That is me as well, because I think my little personal decision was a couple of years ago. No more FS1, no more ESPN. I'm not going to go on those channels at all. I usually do the digital stuff.
Yeah.
I go on this show.
Yeah.
And I'm more pursuing, like, I like to see what other radio stations are doing. Like, not because of Odyssey. Like, I want to see what Odyssey Dallas is doing. Chicago. I always like to see what they're saying, because I feel like they have a better pulse on the heart of the sports fan than the people up north.
Well, nationally, and it's because of lazy producers and lazy management, and they just say, "Here, talk about the Knicks, talk about the Lakers," and that's going to move the needle. And I said it. Most of the stations that ESPN is on are on dinky little stations. Yeah, they're not on 50,000 watt stations. There's a few, but out of the 350 to 400 affiliates that they allegedly still have, and you have to carry some of the programming. People in Texas, Montana, Idaho, South Dakota, North Dakota, Missouri, Georgia, they are not listening to this nonsense. You are not moving the needle for these little smaller ESPN affiliates.
No.
It's unbelievable. And they just have such a narrow, rigid point of sports information. That's all they care about is move the, thank God Thibodeau got fired. They would have nothing to talk about. Then you have to hear about the Knicks brand is still so big. No, it isn't. It isn't.
That thing died when
the Knicks are not. They don't care. This is going to be the lowest. Now, I agree with Commissioner Stern on one thing that he said yesterday. Look, this is going to be one of the lowest NBA finals watched in history. Now, it's a shame because it's the way the national media perceives it, because they haven't followed, like I have, the NBA this year, so they have the nerve to act surprised when teams like Indiana, maybe not OKC, but even OKC, as awesome as they have been, they're way down the totem pole for some of these national broadcasters. They just don't care. Unless you're the Knicks or the Lakers to a degree, the Celtics and maybe the 76ers at times. Once in a while, Miami, they don't address it. Because
really
they're
don't.
lazy. Forget hockey. They don't even, not even the lead story, not even close to a lead story. They were an hour 15 minutes in today without even mentioning it. Absolutely embarrassing. And I troll.
I do that as too.
I troll on Sportsmanlike. I send them a tweet every morning about how pathetic they are. Hoping it draws, and we'll draw some people over here. But just what we need, more fucking Stephen A. Smith preaching and yelling at me. Like he's Martin Luther King / Jackie Childs, and it's all he does is preach and preach and preach and preach and tell me why I preach and preach. It's so awfully fucking annoying. One of your shows is going to be, entertainment and sports politics or political, and the other is going to be about sports.
Mm-hmm.
So rehash the same bullshit about
rinse
the
and
NBA.
repeat.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat. Here we go.
Rinse and repeat. Just unbelievable.
It's so bad.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I personally, I avoid the channels. Like in the morning, I usually go on NHL Network or MLB Network. That's what I do now. It's just like no one does that. Also, my little thing: if this OKC team never left Seattle, it'd been the hottest thing ever. The team will be the hottest, coolest things in sliced bread of the basketball team. Would be the perfect team.
Because they're in OKC, the national media wants to downplay it. I mean, there used to be a time where we didn't care about markets. It wasn't about market. It was about the stories, about the players. Now the national media has made it into about market branding. I'm telling you, most people don't care. Nobody's going up to the water cooler going, "Geez, I hope the Knicks get good this time. I hope they do it again." No, I said it yesterday, and I said it to these guys. Get the Commissioner Gordon bat phone from New York to Toronto, you can discuss until hell freezes over what franchise is more pathetic and will never win jack shit, the Knicks or the Maple Leafs. Have that conversation all day. But nobody at ESPN outside of about 4 people has, watches hockey. I know Michelle Smallbone wants to talk about hockey, and they won't let her. Canty has no idea what a hockey puck is at all, and Evan doesn't seem to give a shit.
No,
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievably bad radio. It really is. And they just don't, either they know it and they don't care. You talk about giving up and just cashing a paycheck. Anybody off the street can do what they do. Here's a producer handing you 8 sheets or 80,000 sheets of stuff on the Knicks. And the other day, Canty does a whole 10-minute, 15-minute segment on his top 5 NBA champions that have gone unnoticed over the years. He brings up the Washington Bullets over Seattle in 1977, and then Seattle beat Washington in the next year. And did it, had no idea that Wes Unseld was on that team. He's like, I had to go talk to my dad and everything else. And I'm like, you wasted 15 minutes on that segment. Anybody off the street can do that. And he's sitting there reading off of Wikipedia like this. For the 1977 Washington Bullets led by Wes Unseld. And it's just reading Wikipedia shit for all the championships that he's talking about. Not even his own insight or any, it's strictly us. It is embarrassing.
I agree.
Embarrassing.
I know Evan Cohen because we've had him on Heat pregame. I asked him, like, you gonna watch a hockey game? Like, nah, I wouldn't watch a basketball game as always. That's typical Evan Cohen, New Yorker for you. So
which is unbelievable. How you're not a Ranger fan
he's a Mets fan. He's a Brady fan.
I know, he's a Patriot fan.
Yes.
Which I don't get. I don't understand that. And I disavow him. He's not a Patriot.
It's because he told me, he was like, Channel 3 is like, oh, the CBS Channel 3 is like, yeah, we got that too. Like, okay. Like the Connecticut Channel 3.
Yeah, out of Hartford. That sounds out of Hartford.
Everyone got that. He loves the Miami Heat. I was like, okay, cool. Cool, man.
Did you happen to see the new trailer that I did for Madden 26?
Oh no, I've not actually.
Oh, it is awesome.
I have not bought a Madden game since the cover of Lamar Jackson. By the way,
I haven't had one since probably Xbox since 2012.
Okay,
right around there, and it's been a while. But this is going to be. They're going to have Scott Hansen from Red Zone come on give halftime updates and highlights and everything.
Really?
This is like above and beyond anything I've ever seen. Every year they get better and better and better.
I always said Madden topped out to me after Madden 06 when McNubb was on the cover. That's been my take for a while, anyways. And that was like that's what I always said. But my favorite one's Madden 05 with Ray Lewis. That thing with the hit stick, probably the best thing ever. So.
Yeah.
And
there's always I love the glitches that happen in this game.
Yeah,
and there's always a couple. My favorite one was a few years ago. I think I told Angel about it, but it was the Lions at home, right? And Prater goes from Estero High School, by the way, over here.
Okay.
Prater went to Estero High School, goes to kick a game-winning field goal, right? And as he's approaching the ball, he gets smaller and smaller and smaller. He kicks the ball 50 yards. It goes through, but as it's going, he starts to float to the top of, not the Silver Dome, whatever it's called now in Detroit.
Ford Field.
Ford Field. He floats to the top of his starts to float to the top of his team.
It's an inner body, outer body experience.
Matt Prater, come back. But there's always a glitch like that or two that happened.
Those are the best ones, anyways.
Yeah.
And plus, there used to be so many clips. This is like the Greg Jennings. I put the team on my back. Like people would do like upload rando stuff like that. I miss those days of Madden. It was always so fun, anyways. So
great seeing the Hurricanes baseball team do what they did, winning 5-4. I know Joe Z's happy. Did I leave him for Louisville today, or did I leave yet? I saw a workout video.
I haven't checked yet. So I actually got up over here and then we just we threw ourselves together anyways. So
I saw, Jay Ortega, Derek Williams, Will Smith after the game the other day, the 5-4 win, which was an outstanding win. So on to Louisville. You have to say it like you're constipated, but four ACC teams in out of the 16. That's good.
Let's go.
and Miami tomorrow, 3:00, I believe ESPN 2, game 1. Then 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. What's up with that?
Is Louisville in Central Time Zone or is that Eastern Time Zone?
I think Louisville's in the East, aren't they?
I've been trying to figure that out the whole time, anyways. Just Kentucky's like weird, anyways. I don't know if you have to switch time zones or anything. I know Indiana you have to in some certain parts, anyways. So
certain part. I think Indiana though was on one. They don't have daylight savings time. I don't think
parts of it. I believe.
I don't know. I lose track.
Yeah, because it's. I think I've drove through when I went to Chicago last time in the fall. Went to Soldier Field. I drove from Connecticut to Chicago, which is the craziest thing ever. So,
have you talked to Joe Z at all? Have you heard him on the station?
I have not talked to him yet, anyways, in a while because we had our final show last week after Memorial Day of the Hurricane Hotline. We had JD Arteaga on.
Yeah,
we had Don Bailey Jr. on.
How's that going? What's the a lot of positivity heading into this season so far, and Carson Beck and
a lot of positivity. We had Jay Lucas on too this last time we had him on, so it was good to hear from the basketball coach. Very nice guy, I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, he came over from Duke.
Yes, I'm really excited because I would like to see a proper basketball program down here to rival against them.
Well, we're only a couple of years away from a Final Four appearance, okay?
Yes.
But what happened last year was really embarrassing.
Oh yeah,
to lose some of the games the way they were. I mean, they just you talk about hitting rock bottom. So there's no place to go for the Hurricanes hoop team but up, and I believe they will.
Definitely, for sure. I will say this: I'm enjoying parts of the South Florida landscape, trying to enjoy the sport of hockey. And I heard one of the things, what time and who we playing and what time we're playing. And I looked at one of my buddies who used to play hockey and stuff. I was like, get me out of here already.
But look, but I think there's a lot. Obviously, I think there's a lot of Florida's got an unbelievable hockey fan base now. And there's always going to be a knucklehead like that just hasn't. But Sunrise is going to be rocking.
Oh yeah, I sold Game 3 finally. Sold it last night actually.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. So I'm really I want to see how many Canadians make the trip down for this trip, anyways, because they get to go to Florida again, anyways.
Nice.
So
nice. So any buzz about the baseball team? And certainly we have heard still nothing. Any buzz at all about the Miami Dolphins?
No, I know Jalen Ramsey may be getting traded possibly to Dallas Cowboys or Commanders or somewhere, anyways. I know There's a lot of drama of that right now anyways.
What an invisible organization. I mean, they have made no splash at all, except for the Ramsey stuff.
Yeah, the Ramsey stuff. We haven't seen Tyreek go nuts yet on anybody yet.
Johnny lost 14 pounds. You lost 14 pounds.
Good for him. Jonnu Smith might get traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is bad. I'll just say that, which is he wants to be down here. And I was like, I'd look at this Dolphin organization like, you really want to trade someone who wants to be here just for cap?
Stephen Ross way, man. That's the Stephen Ross way.
Don't the dumbasses down here, anyways.
All right, Trevor. So what you got? What you got coming up?
I got the Upper Podcast is out. Joe Manuel from NoFilter.net. He's on. I got a lot of stuff going on with that. We may have a referee on next week, Tim Peel.
Oh, nice.
I think I got to go out of town this weekend, so we'll see what happened. But tomorrow's my birthday anyway, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do for that anyway. So
your birthday's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday. What are you, 21, 22?
I wish, 33.
Wait till you're 58. And we'll really have a party. All right, man.
Or 40 like Julie Dobbs just did anyway. It's at the Choctaw Casino.
Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami. See you, my friend. We'll talk next week. Have a great week off. Or we have a nice weekend. All right, Jay Flanley's going to join us momentarily, but another quick break here, Angel. And when we come back, Jay Flanley from Ann Arbor. We have a lot to discuss with him as well. Coming up here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Andersen windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Andersen windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Welcome back to this Pete Sheppard Show here. 8:35 in the a.m. on a Thursday in the Eastern Time Zone. How's everybody doing? Thanks for checking us out across the Coastal Sports Network video platform. Jay Flannelly from Ann Arbor is going to join me in just a little bit. We'll talk about Charles Woodson Jr. and Michigan extending an offer to him. Yeah, it's hard to believe we're that old. Charles Woodson Jr. We're also going to get his take on what happened with Dr. Santa Ono, who was vetoed first time ever by the Florida Board of Governors to take over as president of the Florida Gators of the University of Florida. And if you see my Facebook page this morning, you will see that Jay and another gentleman, along with Dr. Ono, are in the picture. Interesting stuff. Well, thanks for checking us out here on the Pete Sheppard Show, of course, on YouTube as well, on Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn, CSN Florida, SR1029 The Game, SR1029TheGame.com. And just like that, joining us for the second time this week, up and at 'em, up and early, my buddy Jay Flannelly from Beeves World in Ann Arbor. Good morning, Jay. Look at the sun shining brightly into your dorm. It looks like you're in a dorm.
No, I live. I know. And by the way, it's not sun shining. It's raining, and it's like 60 degrees. So there you go, 55, 60 degrees.
Well, it's 76 here, and it's been raining for 4 days. And
Angel, can you go punch Pete in the face for me, please?
No, we need the rain. I mean, down here, like I said, we hadn't rained here in 3.5 months, so we need all the rain possible. I know there's some people down here on vacation; they're all upset, but you come down to Florida in June, it's going to rain a lot in June.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is. But we needed it.
Yeah. So one of the cool things is my dad moved down there about 15 years ago, and he explained that to me. Well, you don't have rain forever, and then there's like 2 months where you get it like every day, and you have it
might only be 10 minutes, but sometimes it's for a few days at a time. And we needed it a few days at a time. You have animals that have running out of watering holes. I mean, this is as bad a drought as they had in 25 years down here.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway.
So no, it's interesting. There's a lot going on. Remind me to ask you. I have a Patriots thing for you, but we'll do that. So hit me. I know what you want to talk about. Let's go.
All right. Well, first thing I want to talk about it's simple stuff. Michigan extending the offer to 2027 safety Charles Woodson Jr. How old are we? Anyway, I mean, God, it seems like yesterday you won the Heisman in 1997, but
and I was here.
5'11", 160-pound D-back from down here, from Disney World, from Orlando, and announced his Michigan offer yesterday on social media. So you excited about that?
Yeah, and also Marcus Ray's son who was Charles's best friend. He was the safety with the Boston Massacre, the famous Sports Illustrated front page.
Yeah.
His son was just here at camps over the weekend. He had a great camp. So that would be really cool. And again, yes, I feel old. These are guys who I went to school with. They were here with me. Obviously, a huge part of our football program, and I was here working for the team. And, you can make a case, by the way, for Charles Woodson having maybe the greatest career of history of any football player, period, for everything he's done. He won Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl, Heisman, National Championship. I mean, he's the only defensive player, and he was primary defensive player, like 85, 90% of his plays. He did about 10 to 15 offensive plays a game, not what Travis Hunter just did.
What's interesting to me is he's also got offer, and there's no way his dad was going to let this happen, but he had offers from Florida State, Iowa State, Kentucky, Mississippi, Syracuse, and Texas A&M. Now, what sticks out to you right there? There were no other offers there from any Big Ten schools. None.
Well, it's kind of obvious why.
But if I'm Ohio State, I'd do it, or Michigan State, just for shits and giggles. Wouldn't you? Just to try to irk them.
It's funny that you bring that up because last time we talked about C.J. Carr.
Yeah.
Coach Carr's grandson and Jason, my old roommate's son, he's the starting quarterback at Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's stuff like that happens. You never know what's going to happen. I'm trying to think if there's another high-level son of a player that went to like an arch enemy school. I'm trying to think.
I think. Well, you can look at. Oh my God! Why am I having brain cramp? Famous Ohio State. He went to Michigan.
Oh, you're talking about the Borans.
No.
Yeah.
Woody Hayes. Didn't Woody Hayes go to Michigan?
No. You're talking about Bo. Bo did that.
Bo Schembechler went to Ohio State, right?
Gary Moeller did that.
Who's the famous coach from Michigan, Ohio State that went to one place or another?
You've got it right. You got it. So Bo didn't go to Ohio State, but he coached for Woody Hayes for years, and then he came here.
That's what I'm thinking.
But the second part of that is, and this directly involves me, Gary Moeller was a captain for Woody Hayes, and then became the coach here after Bo. So that was he was an assistant here for 20 years. He was probably Coach Schembechler's best coach. No, but it'd be like the equivalent of, it'd be like the equivalent of Dan Marino going and play for the Jets.
Well, look, man, when I saw Wade Boggs ride on a horse in Yankee Stadium.
There's one.
There's
one.
That was disgusting, and when Roger Clemens first left and went to Toronto, that was on Dan Duquette and all that stuff, and that wasn't as big a deal, except when he came back and struck out 18 Red Sox one day in his return, and then
Nomar like 5 times.
Yeah, and then he ended up with the Yankees as well against the Mets in the World Series, and the throwing of the bat, that was fun. By the way, nice job by your boy Alonso last night, couple of home runs.
Mets might want to extend him.
You think?
And they will. They will. He's
lost him this offseason. They almost lost him.
I know, but he has the opt out, but they'll keep him. They have to keep him. They have to keep him. And Steve Cohen has the money, so it's not like you don't have a big sale for the Mets.
Okay, first time.
But you are correct. By the way, they are playing well.
Yes, they are. First time in history that the University of Florida the Board of Governors vetoed an incoming president, Dr. Santa Ono, who has obvious ties to you guys up in Michigan and Ann Arbor. And there's a picture of you on my Facebook page with him that you sent me last night. I can't read what that says because I can't read what that says.
No, I'm red lighting myself from what you're reading. Go ahead. It's good.
Okay, so explain to the national audience who don't really know about this guy. I read up on him, and there's a lot of I'm not going to say anti-Semitic stuff, but there's some interesting reasons why anybody of the Jewish faith would not like this guy at all. But you just don't see this. Dr. Santa Ono, tell me about him. What is he all about? Was this a more political thing that Florida and the Board of Governors vetoed him, or is it because he was not a sports guy per se?
No. I'll explain that.
Okay, so go ahead. Tell me all you know about Dr. Santa Ono and why the Florida Board of Governors rejected him.
Okay. As far as the University of Florida goes, I can't really comment on them other than I know the DEI stuff and the Palestinian Jewish disputes. We had people on campus here took over our Diag area, which is the main central area of the campus last spring, summer, and President O had them thrown out with the state police and so forth. So there's a lot of political stuff involved right now being a president of any university. So no matter what you do, you're going to piss somebody off. You side with the Jewish people, you're going to piss off the Palestinians. You side with the Palestinians, you're going to piss off the Jewish.
Gotcha.
And in post-COVID, things had also changed. He came in right after COVID. Now, the important part that I don't think gets talked about enough with President Ono, he replaced an absolute disgrace who got fired from here for sexual harassment and a whole bunch. Basically, Mark Schlissel is the guy's name. He was an academic nerd guy who, Pete, I've been here for 30 years. I'd never seen anybody ever here at the university who had no friends anywhere.
Really?
The bus drivers hated him. The professors hated him. The athletics people hated him. He famously never went and visited the football team when Coach Harbaugh was there, ever. He never went down to Schembeckler Hall. So when Santa came in, and he was at a university, I believe, in like Vancouver, he was at Cincinnati also, University of Cincinnati. President O is a sports guy, and he's very He's also a in person, go and meet people, and he was very visible and out there, and he'd visit and go see everybody. He was very popular here with the public and so forth. Now, about behind the scenes dealings, stuff's coming out that I was not aware about at all. But he was a great sports guy. As the picture I sent you, that was he had a dinner last year during the football season. He had all the football alumni guys come back, and myself and a couple of other guys were the leaders of it, and getting guys involved, as him getting more involved with the team, and being more visible on campus, because usually traditionally at the University of Michigan, the athletics and the school kind of clash. And they don't, and there's very unfriendly administration. And he was exactly
why? Because the academic people are jealous of the sports people who run the academic. The only reason why you have all those big buildings and can pay the professors is because the sports teams do very well.
You said that, Pete. I didn't say that, but you're really fucking smart. You know that? You really are. Yeah, and so he was very popular. But again, there was a lot of political stuff. And this is going on. I mean, the Florida guy, Ben Sass, he was a senator. He got fired. So Santa,
he was atrocious. I mean, I guess Florida's, and I don't pay a lot of attention to this stuff.
You shouldn't.
Except when when the Gators couldn't get a good practice facility and stuff like that. And Florida State, the same thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened over the years with Florida State, and the football programs. And you scratch your head going, how the hell does that happen? How does that happen?
Well, no, we had that, a lot of that.
The facility's not being renovated properly, and a lot of that stuff.
We had a lot of that here before, right around when they brought in Coach Harbaugh, where we had a horrible athletic director, I'm not even going to say his name, who undermined everything, every coach here, and it was just a mess. But again, even I just talked about the previous president here, Schlissel, who was nobody liked him. Even that guy had friends.
Yeah.
So so that was the amazing thing. But Santa's a close personal friend of mine. I like the man. I think he's done a good job. But in all reality, here's the number one lesson of this entire situation. And I'm half joking and I'm half serious. If you're going to leave a job, make sure you have one. I mean, it's like...
Well, he did make history. He did make history. It's the first time ever that the Florida Board of Governors vetoed an incoming person. First time ever.
Yeah, Pete.
You read the writing on the wall. He had to have known something like this had the possibility of happening. You don't just go into Gainesville and go, no, get out. I mean, he had to have known there was something.
So, okay. I'm gonna somewhat break some news here, and I'm being serious for the first time in forever. When this story broke, it was leaked. It wasn't supposed to break until like Tuesday. It broke on a Sunday. It wasn't supposed to come out until they were ready for it. So I think when the story leaked, I believe it was by Florida. Remember, the way the state of Florida runs, Florida State, Miami, sorry, Pete, all these other schools have access to this information too. So they can use it for political purposes and gain. Say, if you're a Florida State or Miami or Florida Atlantic or any other school,
USF,
you want
UCF,
you want to hurt
FAU,
the University of Florida. Yes, you want to hurt the University of Florida. So leaking the story about the president coming in and breaking up their timeline is probably good for you. So this type of stuff goes on. We deal with this stuff here all the time with Michigan.
First of all,
Michigan
in a
State.
wonderful private institution like the University of Miami, we don't deal in those shenanigans. We just pay people and come in.
Yeah, well, you had Donna Shalala. Donna Shalala is your president.
I would be more inclined with you if it was Florida State about Miami being involved with Florida. And
See,
Miami, we don't care about the Gators. You know,
Free Shoes University. There you go.
Anyway, I mean, no, look, I think it's good for this state when all the Florida teams are relevant. I do. It's great.
I agree.
Miami, Florida State, Miami, Florida, USF is doing a whole new rebuild, you know, in Boca with their whole new stadium and recruiting facility and all. The UCF with the bounce house is always a draw. And then if FAU and FIU can.
And just F you, hello.
There
you go.
Exactly. But
that's Angel's favorite, F you.
Yeah. And it's too bad that all the Florida teams can't. Too bad that Miami, Florida State, Florida, UCF, and at least USF can't play each other every single year. That would be a lot of fun, but there's no way you could possibly do that with the ACC and SEC schedules and the other Conference USA, whatever conferences, the FAU and FIU and all that stuff. It's too bad that it wasn't like a 50-game schedule so they could all play each other, but just once in a while they get to play. And I mean, Florida's coming here to play Miami. Yeah. Miami goes to Florida State this year, so it'll be good.
Yeah, and that's one of the byproducts of the new playoff system, where you're going to have very few big non-conference games. So now that Florida State and Miami are in the ACC, they're not going to play Florida, who's in the SEC. They'll argue, hey, we played too many good teams already.
They are this year because they did the home and home with the Gators last. Yeah, but Florida State's always going to play Florida. They always play. Mm-hmm. They always play at the end at some point in the season.
But the Miami Florida State thing has gone away.
Yes. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. So, and like you've seen there are a couple of games this year.
They play Florida State again this year. I mean, Miami, Florida State. I don't think that's going away.
Well, but part of that is they're in the same conference now. So what's going on? Have you seen like this year? Texas is playing Ohio State. We played them last year. Yeah. Yep. So, but you're not going to have those games anymore. Like back in the day, you remember like. Back when Florida State and Miami weren't even in a conference, they played each other. Michigan would play Notre Dame. Yeah, Michigan would play Notre Dame. You're not going to see a lot of that anymore. You're going to be seeing Southern Montana State at Miami, and shame on you at Miami. There's not going to be, like I always tell people, the '94 Michigan team, which is one of my favorite teams ever. Our first 3 games, think about this, how nuts this is.
Yeah.
At Boston College at home, when they had Dan Henning and they were good. Then we went to Notre Dame. We beat them on the Remy Hamilton kick with no time left and at Notre Dame. And then that Colorado game, which they replay every friggin' 5 minutes. And I wish they had the camera on me at the end of the game, the Colorado game in '94. So we just had the 30th anniversary of that thing last year. I claim that's the reason why I have no hair of that game. So at least my doctor, the lawsuit's coming. It is, but you're not going to have teams playing that schedule. I didn't Nebraska just drop a game with like Tennessee or something, and there's another one. Yeah, I mean that type of stuff. You're not going to see Texas, Ohio State, and Michigan, Texas, and a game that is underrated in the history of how Michigan turned things around over the last couple of years when Harbaugh was here was the 21 Washington game, the night game here, It was the second game we had where we just killed them. Now, they were supposed to be really good, and they had a bad year. That was when Jimmy Lake was there. They lost to, like, Montana the week before at home.
Yeah.
And they brought in Coach DeBoer and Penix Jr., and they did all the things they did where we ultimately beat them for the Natty in 23. But, yeah, it's an underrated part. But, part of this is, Pete, you never know with college football. Look at Arizona State last year. Indiana's a bigger one. You don't know who's going to come out and just be well.
Yeah, I mean,
NFL,
Indiana had a nice season last year, but and sometimes it's just like Miami last year. Like, well, we didn't play anybody. Well, it's not their fault Clemson wasn't on the schedule this time, or SMU. It's not their fault that it happened that way. But Indiana, you gotta schedule people outside when you have a weak schedule like that, and because they didn't play anybody. They didn't play anybody last year with a damn. They really didn't. I give them credit for. I still think it's hard to do what they did and win that many games, but I'm not surprised at the outcome. They didn't play anybody. If you're in one of these,
They beat us.
I know.
So.
But if you're in one of these Power Four conferences, that was the first time in 22 years that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys were you didn't. You had a down year last year.
At the beginning of the year, we weren't a good team.
They caught you at the right time. They caught you.
Exactly.
They played you at the end of the year. I don't think they would have beat you.
And that was the game. I'm trying to. I think Jack played, and Jack got hurt. Jack Tuttle, who's now one of our coaches. So I'm pretty sure because I'm trying to go remember the quarterbacks because Orgy and Jay and Davis Warren were playing, and Davis got beat up a little, and they moved. Yeah, I think Jack played. Jack or Davis played in that game. I'm trying to remember. And Jack actually started his career there. I told you the last time to show you how old Jack Tuttle is. He was like the 4th or 5th quarterback ranked in his high school class.
Mm-hmm.
1 and 2 were like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. That's how old Jack is. Jack and I have fun with this.
Wow.
So
Unbelievable.
isn't that nuts? And he was still playing. He'd still be playing now. He just had injuries. And the other one was he was here for like 3 years. Bowman, who's the Oklahoma State quarterback, is there like 8 years. He was the backup here with Cade and JJ for a while. I think it's Bowman. Bowman's his last name. Well, he's the Oklahoma State quarterback.
He had the tight end from Miami last year for the Hurricanes. He
had injuries too.
Major injuries. And he caught the first touchdown pass of the year against the Gators when I was out there in Gainesville. Now he's like 27 years old.
Okay. So you just brought up the Gators. I'm going to use this to give you my Patriots thing.
Yes.
Would you want Kyle Pitts?
Yes. For some reason, I don't know why, but maybe he's not a great route runner. I'm going to try to be. Go ahead. Talk. I would take if you could get him for a decent contract. I would take him in a heartbeat. I think that guy, just for whatever reason, it's one of those guys I think needs a change of scenery. I could be completely wrong, but that guy is really, really talented. He's more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end. If you're talking about a true tight end, he's more like, dare I say, Aaron Hernandez.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, he's going to be. He's more of a slot receiver tight end than he is a Gronk tight end where he's going to block and do all that stuff. But I think he's still an immense talent. I think he's, for whatever reason, is in the wrong situation. And if he does stay, maybe he and Penix Jr. find some connection that he could not find with Kirk Cousins.
No, listen, he can't block the sun. And the Hernandez thing is a good comp. He's a bigger kid though. I like Jimmy Graham and the Kyle Pitts, Aaron Hernandez thing because of the Florida thing is also a nice comp. But so you would have to use him as like a chess piece, kind of, again like how the Patriots use Aaron Hernandez. And listen, you can talk about Hernandez for the off the field stuff. When he played and was on, he was incredible. But he couldn't block anybody. He wasn't tough. He could be pushed around, and that's kind of what Pitts is, by the way. So I don't inside receiver tight end guy. You get a lot of what Mike Evans does, where you get blown up and we've seen it with Edelman and Troy Brown and Amendola and Wes Welker. Those inside slot guys get beat up. Now he's a bigger kid, but that also makes you a target and you get hit a lot.
If Gronk and Hernandez, and obviously being a scumbag that Aaron was at the end, I mean, whatever you want to say, it's hard. But as a football player, and he and Gronk did not get to play together a lot. They really did.
Which is crazy.
But
Yes, because Gronk got hurt.
One was hurt, the other one was hurt. Man, I don't know of a more awesome duo in my lifetime. Absolutely, and I'm not exaggerating. Unstoppable. Unstoppable when both of them were in the lineup together. You didn't need anybody else except for Brady to throw him the ball. It just was a thing of beauty, and what a fucking shame how it ended up. But man, when those two were in the game together, there was no defense. No. They would have destroyed the 46 zones of the Bears back in the day because they would have not known what
1-2 out. Yeah,
would not have known what was happening. What a shame. I mean, it was just if there was ever a word awesome, and you saw Gronk and Hernandez in the dictionary at the same time, there was nothing. A better duo in football. I would put them up with anybody offensively in football history in their prime when they both played together, which wasn't a lot of games, but when they were, man, was that awesome. It was just a thing.
It was the tight end equivalent of Stallworth and Swan and Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and Mark Duper and Clayton. It's just nuts. But no, and that's the thing. You remember Bill O'Brien was there. They would run 12 personnel. And they'd have one guy on each end of the line, and they just do the play action with LeGarrette Blount and the other running game and stuff. And it was just he was
Blount
insane.
Was really good for the Page. People forget how good he
was.
One
first trauma, baby.
It was
one first trauma.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was a really good. You're right, a really good player. And unfortunately, he killed us in another game that I don't want to talk about, but. Nick Effin Foles. Angel wants to talk about it though. So the Angel's got a bunch of stuff, like the stuff Bill in a dumpster for not playing Malcolm Butler. See, Angel wants Bill to get an extension for doing that. So by the way, I'm not even being funny. Where is Nick Foles? Angel, where is he?
I don't know. It's like saying, "Where's Waldo? Where's the Miami Dolphins? Where's Mike McDaniel? Where's anybody from the Miami except for trading Ramsey and where the
John
hell?
Smith? John Smith's out there too. By the way, he'd be good on the Patriots too.
He was.
John Smith. Well, not. That's I totally forgot about that.
He was on the Patriots.
I know, but they didn't use it. They didn't use him right. Which is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely nuts when you think about it.
You could be going to Pittsburgh anyway. A guy who wants to stay in Miami, and then they want to trade him in Pittsburgh anyway.
Why are they doing that? Money?
It's the Dolphins. Money? It's stupid. It's a dumb organization. I don't know any Miami Dolphin fans who are excited about the upcoming season. I don't know how any Dolphin fans are excited about their season coming up. They'll battle it out with the Jets for last place.
Oh, I would enjoy that. I actually think the Jets are going to be decent because I like Aaron Glenn and I like Justin Fields, and they have good players. Yep. I mean, and their offensive line's good, and they got some players on defense. What did you think of the Stanley Cup last night?
Awesome. Led with it.
Such good plays.
Unbelievable all the way. Every period, every shift.
High-end plays.
Yep.
People do not, and I posted this on my Facebook, do not understand how fast the Edmonton Oilers team is and how skilled they are. Florida, everybody talks them up like they're a bunch of goons and meatheads, and they kind of are, but they can also play.
No, because
they have a lot of
good shot, but no, they have just as fast and just a talented team, top to bottom.
Barkov,
Edmonton does, yeah.
Hagee, Reinhardt. I mean, they have players everywhere.
The list is endless. I mean, this should be a 7-game series. I picked Edmonton in 6. I didn't want to because I've been on Florida the whole time. I love Paul Maurice, but I picked Edmonton in 6 because getting to the Stanley Cup final 3 years in a row hasn't been done since the Oilers in the 80s. So it's just this is a remarkable thing, and both teams are resilient. Both teams are resilient.
I mean, that goal they scored to win the game in overtime on the power play that was such an incredible play. But it's just, you watch it, and you mentioned Kachuk. He's clearly not healthy. I went about 20 minutes and I didn't notice him. I mean, he got hurt in Four Nations.
Well,
But
Tomas Nosek's penalty. He didn't mean to flip the puck over the board. I hate that rule. If it's intentional, it's one thing. But I hate that rule in the NHL where if it flips over the boards by accident, you get a penalty for delay a game.
If they had that rule when I was playing, Pete, I'd have another 200 minutes in penalties. So I'm already around 200. I'd have about 400 the way things are going. But no, I actually like that rule because it makes you make plays, and that's what they want.
And I agree. But I'm saying it makes you make play. But you can tell you're not going to make that play. It's not a deliberate play. Obviously, nobody wants to go be on power play or be shorthanded in overtime. But anyway,
no, they're trying to get away from the neutral zone trap and the stuff that New Jersey Devils.
I agree with it. I hate to see that happen, and obviously he didn't mean to do it, but nevertheless, it's a penalty.
And by the way, the Florida Borowski, the goalie, the save he had on the Trent Frederick, and the other one he had. And by the way, Gretzky was close to being 2 for 2 on his predictions because he picked Frederick. Gretzky is so good on TV.
Connor McDavid on the assist and the overtime, or on the goal, and what we can't figure out is if Gretzky was wearing a toupee last night, because I've never seen his hair so coiffed and puffy like that, and I don't know if it was a tube or not, but anyway, he was.
I think his hair. I am the resident hair expert on the Pete Sheppard show, as you can go to see. So I think it's his hair. It's just remember he's not a big hats guy, and by the way, if he had the toupee, Biz would make fun of him because they have fun. Like if you don't know, Biz has gout. Biz got gout, and they're all making fun of him on the show.
Yeah,
and he and Gretz have a great relationship.
Yeah,
and because people don't understand about Wayne Gretzky, he's very pro tough guy. Because remember when he got traded by Edmonton, LA, he made them put Marty McSorley in the trade, who was his protector.
Yep.
That was the one condition he had.
And
so
Wayne did get in 3 fights. I think he got in 3 fights in his career. Got in 3 fights, but yeah.
Okay, I can name you 2 of them. Neil Broughton was his first one.
Yep.
Keith Brown from the Chicago Blackhawks. I can't remember who the third one was. But yeah, he was. It might be Phil Sykes. Phil Sykes or Neil Sheehy were 2 guys that he had all kinds of problems with. I used to stay up when I was a little kid and watch Hockey Night in Canada, the 10 o'clock games. I love Dale Hawerchuk.
Yep.
God bless him. Rest in peace. I love Wayne Gretzky. I love the old Calgary Flames with Lanny McDonald and Al McGinnis.
Of course.
Those are such great games.
Great mustache in hockey history.
Oh.
Yeah, the Raleigh famous mustache. Lanny did, and it was awesome. Yeah.
And Bobcat, their trainer, who looked like Laney with the mustache, but he had my haircut. So they had, if you go back and look at Bobcat Murray, I believe is the guy's name.
2 of my favorite Edmonton Oilers of all time, and I used to hate them.
Because they killed the Bruins twice.
No, the Bruins used to beat them all the time. I mean, especially.
Well, I'm talking about the Stanley. Steve Kasper and Ray Bork, yes.
Finals, yes, and Glenn Wesley missing.
No!
Game 1, triple overtime.
Don't do that, Pete.
Would have changed the whole series.
No, don't talk about Glenn Wesley, Pete.
But I will tell you,
Grant
Fuhr to me is the most underrated goaltender, big-time goaltender of all time. Just absolutely awesome. And then I used to love, and I've said this to a lot of I used to love back in the day in the 80s, and somebody would get hurt for the Oilers, and here would come Dr. Randy Gregg, who was also on the ice at the same time playing, and he'd go get his bag and then come back.
Not crazy.
Come back and treat us.
That he was a doctor.
He was a doctor. That was unbelievable.
That group of defensemen they had: Kevin Lowe, Paul Coffey.
Oh, I hated Coffey.
Charlie Huddy. I mean, they had so many good defensemen.
Dr. Randy Gregg. They were more dangerous shorthanded at times than they were at full strength. It was scary.
And all
they would be shorthanded.
Oh, I know. So listen, you got my main man, Mita Perel, in the bullpen. That's my guy.
Yeah.
So you got to have that's my hero. So Get our meter on.
Nice hero.
Good BC talk. That's my guy.
Yeah, I got to find out. He's just with Mike
He's with
Vrabel.
Mute.
Yep.
He's with Mute. So that's Mute. So give you a story, quick story. His broadcast partner, Scott Mutrin, one of his broadcast partners, online guy, his high school quarterback was he was high school quarterback for Pat Kratis, who's Tom Brady's roommate at Michigan.
Ah, how about that?
So there you go. And and I believe St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius, am I correct? See, meters waved me on. So there you go. So I listen to BC, Bill O'Brien, and Over Pride, baby, and Meter's my guy. So going back to Dennis and Callahan back in the day, that's my guy. So
Jay, man, all the best. We'll talk next week. Can't wait. We're getting closer and closer to college football. Thank
Be
God.
nice to my Meter. I'm not worthy. That's my man. Meter is the man.
Right. Jay, you're the best. Jay playing from Peace World in Ann Arbor.
Hi, buddy.
And we'll talk soon. And just like that, from one to another, there he is, the one and only John Meter-Perrell, voice of Boston College football, professor at BC and the ACC Network, a play-by-play voice as well. I just tweeted out your wonderful picture with you, Mike Vrabel, and Billy O'Brien. And what a threesome that is.
Yes, it is. Back in the day, we would have had a caption contest, Pete.
Yes, on the casting couch, you would have had something, yes.
Oh, boy. The Office, did you ever go into Belichick's office?
Yes, yeah. I never told you about the story about. Finish your story, then I'll tell you my Belichick office story.
I was just gonna say I'd never been in there, and it was you could literally put.
Not huge.
Well, it's pretty big. It's you could live there. You could live there comfortably.
It was big, but not like you. It's not like you would. I didn't think it was like crazy big. But go ahead. Oh, we just lost you. I can't hear your voice. I can't hear you.
Wallpaper, so to speak. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, it was an experience there. I can hear you walking in the sacred halls of that. One of the best sightings we had yesterday was Nancy Meyer, who literally should write a book. She's been the executive assistant to every head coach in the last 50 years.
Well, why doesn't she write a book?
She started with Chuck Fairbanks.
Right up until he quit. Did she go to follow him to Colorado for a couple of weeks too?
She did not. But she is fantastic. What a nice person.
So many stories. She must have so many stories.
Oh my God, she was a little reserved when talking about BB, so to speak. But it was an eye opener. It was fun. We had a good time. What's your Belichick?
My Belichick story. I don't know if you remember. Maybe you don't. We ran a contest on the Big Show. And the winner got to go to the Patriots-Eagles exhibition game 1, back in, I want to say, 2008, because it's Randy Moss's second year. So I want to say 2008. So actually, I was on vacation this week, but I was like the person to be meet and greet with me. And then the winner got to go into the office, spend 20 minutes with Bill in a film session along with me, and then got to call the first play of the game. And Bill was going to call it, against the Patriots-Eagles. So I'm in there. It's a nice family. And I want to say they're from Roxbury, I believe. Nice family, and they're 2 younger kids. So they're there, and Bill's doing the film session like he would normally do, which I've seen him do before in person, which is phenomenal. And took questions, was very polite, and everything else. And all I'm thinking of is the play that these people are going to ask for. And I know it's going to be some sort of a trick play. I know it. So he gets through the whole thing, and I'm standing to the left over his chair. The couple and their kids are next to Bill watching the screen. He's got the pointer and doing all that stuff and everything else. All I'm thinking of, I wonder if he will adhere to their demands and whatever. Anyway, they, sure enough, when he asked what play they want the double reverse flea flicker, right? First play. And I knew it was coming. And he goes, how about a simple running play up the middle? And he goes, all right, I'll compromise. They're like, no, we want Randy Moss touching the ball. So he says, I'll compromise. And I won't tell you what it is right for this second. So they agreed. They said, okay. And And he said, like, Pete, don't tell anybody. What do I care? I'm on vacation. I'm not even staying for the game. I'll go home and watch, Patriots Eagles on TV when I get home. Anyway, they ended up running a wide receiver reverse to Randy Moss for -4 yards on the first play. The Eagles snuffed it out, But that was the play that he. And I'm thinking this now. Imagine that would never happen today because the starters wouldn't even be playing. But I'm like,
no.
All I could think of is he gets hurt on this play, I'm going to lose it, But it didn't fool anybody. Didn't fool anybody.
I love it.
So there,
I love it.
That's my little
Belichick. Yeah, well, good for Belichick for allowing them to do that.
Yeah. He compromised, but they wanted a double reverse flea flicker, and they want that. It was a double reverse pass, and they wanted Randy to throw it. They wanted Randy to throw it to Tom. That's what they wanted. Anyway, all right. So, tell me about your podcast. You're with Billy O'Brien. As you've been talking about the last couple of weeks, you're with Mike Vrabel and Billy O'Brien. How did that go? Is that podcast out yet?
It will hopefully be out tomorrow. Our boy Chach is working furiously trying to edit it. But
happy belated anniversary, Chach, by the way. I think he just celebrated.
Yes, he did with his lovely bride, Pam.
Pam, yep. Great lady.
Yes, she is. She's fantastic. But no, it was great. It was a great conversation. It was like it was the frat house type mentality. And Bill kind of took over the interview, which is great. And because he's been great friends with Vrabel for many years, he gave Vrabel a good start in the NFL. And people forget about that. Vrabel was a coach on that Texans staff with O'Brien. So Bill knew early that Vrabel would be a good coach. He probably knew back when he was a player.
Mm-hmm.
They got some great story. I mean, they share a lot of good stuff about some things that Vrabel and Larry Izzo did when they were on the Houston Texans staff. And trying to teach players.
Anything you could share that without giving your whole podcast away.
Well, I don't want to. Yeah, we go
a lot of nuggets. A lot of good nuggets to look forward to. That's what
exactly.
Okay,
a lot of background on Vrabel's career, a lot of growing up stories, a lot of what brought him to this, a lot of what he expects this year, a lot of Drake May, a lot of
Stephon Diggs come up at all recently.
It did not. That was one of those. Thou shall not talk about this things.
I got you.
Yeah, you know how that is. But
how about did Belichick come up at all?
Belichick didn't really come up. It's funny. We didn't. It was kind of like maybe mentioned him once or twice, but I think Vrabel is very cognizant of that.
Yeah,
doesn't really want to deal with that.
He doesn't want to go down the embarrassment road and stuff like that. I'm sure, but
no, and I think he wants to be his own guy. I think one thing going in that building is I got to start building my program. And I think he's doing a really good job with that in terms of, I met some players yesterday that were, I don't know these guys. And Jalen Polk, Punter Barringer, Carlton Davis, they were all
good
coming out when we were there and
hopefully
really good dudes.
Contribute. They're all huge.
I mean, well, they're all good. They all seem like good guys. And I think one thing Vrabel's trying to do is bring back the nice to meet you, sir. How are you? Great to see you. Like all three, everybody we met was like that. And that's something that Bill O'Brien does at BC. Like, make sure you can have a conversation with people. Be a human.
Yes. Oh, wait a second. You don't think diving into a laundry basket outside of an appearance and being rushed to your car like Roman Anthony was, you don't think that's like being a man of the people? Who the fuck does that? Who does that? You're not even with the Red Sox yet. You're in Worcester. I mean, seriously, man? Seriously?
They've lost their way, Pete. They've lost their way.
Well, they were lucky yesterday. That ball was not 308 feet, by the way. That was maybe 302. Maybe 302 into that woman's lap. But anyway, not yesterday, but 2 days ago, if I know it's the contract and I get it also, how you don't fire any manager who comes out and says what Alex Cora says, which basically he quit. He quit. I can't do it. They're not listening to me. We keep doing the same stupid things over and over again at the plate, in the field, running bases. He said it. I don't know of any manager or coach in the four majors that would have survived basically saying, I suck. I can't get through to these guys. I think he wants to get fired. Now, whether or not, if they get creamed in New York this week, 3 games in a row, I don't know. Maybe the Red Sox will come to their senses. I don't know how much longer, Meter, that they can continue here with this. They're a laughing stock now. Those comments that Alex Cora made were fireable offenses. Right out, should have never survived. Eat the remaining money on the contract and just chalk it up to bad business, just like the Browns said with Deshaun Watson. We swung big and missed. That's what happened here. He can't stay on managing after those words. You cannot tell me how that doesn't trickle down into the clubhouse at all.
Well, the problem is I don't think the players care, Pete, and that's on Cora. Like I don't think
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
They
like
don't care.
and right, and I who knows? I don't know anything. I'm not in that clubhouse every day, but I can tell you, as someone who's watched the team for years and years and years, every year since we've been alive, it's been you could tell when they do care. And any fan can. And this team is just bizarre. They're just first of all, they're not that talented.
Well, they're fundamentally inept. They're fundamentally inept, and it starts in the minors. Probably, I think Lou Maloney was bringing this up, and we had talked about it in spring. This team's
true.
Now, that doesn't excuse the fact, like when Meyer tries to tag up from second to third last week on a short fly ball to Trevor Story. That's freaking Little League 101 crap. I don't care about being a rookie or you're in the majors. That's just something you just can't. You got to either know when to do it or not when to.
That's instinct. It's instinct.
It's instinct stuff, knowing when to dive for balls or not. But they do everything wrong. They run the bases terribly on the whole. Their plate approach is awful because it's all fun. It's everything on there in this organization Meter is based on analytics, and it's a joke. They forgot to teach these guys how to play Major League Baseball.
It's also runners in scoring position. It's shortening your swing. It's firing. Probably someone's going to be a fall guy. There's always a fall guy, and it's probably going to be the hitting coach soon, Peter Fatsa. Who's I don't know. Again, I don't know him from Adam, but I do know their numbers are just putrid. You got to stop with the strikeouts. You have to. It just doesn't make any sense, and you're just killing yourself by swinging for the fences and by not establishing any semblance. And they try. I think they've tried with Raphael. I know they have. And oh, by the way, Devers is definitely on the market. That's something that has been whispered.
Really? You think that, hang on one second.
I think he definitely is.
Got some breaking news. From the Boston Bruins, a few minutes ago, Meter, that Marco Sturm has been named the 30th head coach, and his name has been bantied about for about a week now. And yes, welcome home, say the Bruins. Marco Sturm, the new head coach of the Boston Bruins. Okay, it's a start.
And some people are saying, "Who the hell is that?"
He was in the trade for Joe Thornton back in the day.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Yeah. I know. I that was predictable. You want to talk about the Bruins? You can spend 3 hours, and you do. I know you do.
Not right now. I'd rather talk about the Florida Panthers. And
I can't conceptualize the Bruins.
I can't get into the Bruins right now with everything good. Starting with Don Sweeney's staying on. He's not leaving for Team Canada. So I guess some people like it, some people don't. I need to see what's going to happen in the draft, free agency, and then I'll make my assessment then. But certainly, one thing for certain is Joe Sacco was not coming back as a head coach.
There's a couple lost teams in Boston. One is the Red Sox, and the other one is the Bruins. I think the Patriots are back on the right track, at least getting there. And the Celtics are, remains to be seen what's going to happen with them.
The Knicks, what they did to Thibodeau, which I thought they would do anyway. Only people at ESPN are surprised. I'm like, you idiots. This is what the Knicks do. I said, and I'd say, and I'll say it to you: get the bat line, get the Commissioner Gordon bat phone from the Knicks to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are the same organization. Bullshit organizations going nowhere for the last 30 years. It'll be another 30 years before they're relevant again, because it is inevitable. They will find a way to screw it up. And the best season they've had in 25 years, and you fire the coach. And I'm not saying it was perfect, but when your bench only scores 20.7 points a game in the league, and because it's not a good bench, he got them as far as you could possibly go, and that's the way dickhead Jimmy Dolan treats him. He's more interested in his band than he is winning games.
It's a joke. Yes, they are. It's the Mike and the Mad Dog, Chris, Mike Francesa, Chris Mad Dog Russo. My sources say. It's conflicting sources. No, they're
Well,
a mess.
Leon Rose had nothing to do with this. I mean, he just was
Leon Rose was Thibodeau's agent.
It is, exactly. That's what he said yesterday. And this was all Jim Dolan. I mean, let's stop it. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
They get so trigger happy. It's like, all right, if you fire someone, great, fine, whatever. It's like the Red Sox now with Cora. You want to fire her, Cora? Good, go. Which they won't. But if they do fire Cora, what's next? Like, who's next? It's not Jason Varitek. That's not happening. Who's next?
No, it's not Varitek. Varitek didn't want to do it. He never has.
But they don't want to hire Varitek.
The bench coach there, what's his name? Who's 2-0? Maybe. I mean, interim for now. I don't know. Is there a Joe Morgan? Can they catch? Can they catch lightning in a bottle?
I don't think so. I don't think Chad Tracy at Worcester's your guy. Yeah, who knows?
No, but the bench coach, what's his name? Who's the bench coach?
Vasquez, Ramon Vasquez.
Yeah, Ramon Vasquez.
So
has Roman Anthony been called up yet?
No.
So why is he escaping in laundry baskets? Because he says he didn't want to sign autographs and walking out. Where was he? At a hospital? Where the hell was he? That they did that, and he was.
I have no idea. I think he was just outside. He was at the stadium.
Really?
Coming
out of the stadium. He jumps
out of the stadium. Yeah.
He didn't want to sign autographs for anybody, and jumps into a laundry basket to his car. That is such a lame look. I cannot tell you how.
Well, he'll fit right in the clubhouse.
So. Yeah. Back to 24 caps with 24 players, right? 25 caps with 25 player days.
I was there the other night on Monday when they hit the 3 home runs in the inning.
Oh, it was 7-0 before you could play.
I was sitting down the third base line. I was not behind the plate in those seats you love. I was sitting with my buddy Bernie Corbett, who you know, voice of BU hockey.
Yes, great job.
Beanpot Bernie Corbett, we call him.
Great job. Yep.
We were just literally laughing out loud. Like the Trout shot. Been in Fenway many years, Pete.
If that
one of the longest I've ever seen.
But where could have it landed? I mean, I said it could have gone past New Hampshire into Vermont, maybe Maine. That thing was an absolute beyond rocket bomb. I mean, just ridiculous.
The only one I could compare it to that I've seen was Bo Jackson, 1987, I think, when I was, barely in high school, and I was sitting behind the plate with my dad, and we both looked at each other and said, "That's the longest home run we've ever seen at Fenway Park."
I mean, I've seen Manny hit some gigantic shots. I remember in Toronto once, who was the nut job? Carl, what's his name?
Carl Everett.
Carl Everett hit a bomb, like a major bomb in Toronto. Jose Canseco in Toronto hit a bomb. I remember in 75, Jim Rice hit one. I still remember Ken Coleman saying, "Over the American League flag and out of here. Home run Rice." I mean, he blasted one in center field. I mean, Jim Rice hit a couple of monster bombs.
He did.
In place too. But the one that Trout hit, I was like, wow, that's just
yeah, it was majestic. And
it was
they were teeing off on Dick Fitz, who's now in Worcester.
Dick Fitz.
Dick Fitz. We always have fun with that name
Better
up here.
Than Dick Trickle.
Yes, and that's what they've become. They're a AAA team, which is just the unraveling is just ridiculous. I don't understand the lack of direction.
It's an organizational thing. You're right. It's an organizational thing. The manager is a big part of it, but it's the way these guys are being taught from single A, double A. It's just all analytics and no instincts or no proper way to play the game. Defensively, running the bases, approaches to the plate, everything. They do everything wrong. Everything.
Oh, I'm getting a call now from one Kirk Minahan.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
Oh, tell him I said hi.
You want me to answer it?
Yeah, he would do it for us. Put him on speaker.
Minahan.
How's it going, Meter? How are you?
You're on live with Pete Sheppard.
Kurt, what's up, you maniac?
I'm literally on live right now with Pete Sheppard in Fort Myers, Florida.
What's up, you maniac?
Yes, right now. I answered your phone. It's like,
hello, Pete.
Hello, Kurt. How are you?
Hello.
You crazy bastard. I'm glad you could take time out of your busy schedule. This is awesome. What's up? Can you hear me?
Wow, Pete Sheppard. What's going on? How you guys doing?
Nothing. When am I going to come on your show, man?
The 3 ways that you love.
This is my fantasy threesome right here. This is unbelievable. like Matt Gillian with Nev Campbell and Denise Richards.
Hey, I saw a little of your show yesterday. It was very, very, very entertaining, and blood pressure pills are needed on that show, man.
Yeah, it's not easy. How are you guys? What are you guys talking about today?
We're talking about.
I'll show you the
favorite
Red Sox.
subject.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't know. All I know is, all I care about is the only thing I care about in sports is to make sure that a manager is there every game. If his kid graduates from college, certainly they should be walked to the bench the entire game. That's my take on it, right, Peter?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's only it's a long 3-mile trip though, Kirk, from Fenway to BC.
That is true. Yeah. Well, you guys know I enjoy watching the Red Sox stink. It gives me pleasure. So I don't know how they're going to get any better. I don't know anything, but
They suck. Yeah, they suck. As an entire organization, they fucking blow donkey balls. They're awful. So it's what they are. That's what they are. But, use that on your show. Anyway, hey, Kurt, great talking to you. Glad you're kicking ass at Barstool, doing a great job. Anytime you want me to come on and say hi, I'd love to.
Yeah. Let me know. Yeah, reach out whatever, boys. I'll be around.
All right.
Hey, hang on here, Kirk. Kirk in the car. Hang on.
All right,
Pete, can you let me go now?
I'm going to let you go. Talk to you. Have your private conversation, then your fantasy call with Menahan. That's great.
Yeah, it is.
Kirk Menahan from Barstool Sports. Always a pleasure. Has an awesome show on Barstool. As every show on Barstool is awesome. So, anyway, Meter, you're the best. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
That's not true, he said, but that's okay.
Only Menahan show is the best. Everybody else is like, yeah, whatever. All right, Kurt, man. All the best, Kurt, to you and your family as always. And Meter's gone. We'll talk to him next week. So that's going to do it. What a way to end the show, huh, Angel?
Yeah, that's a good way to end it. That's when you get a surprise speaker on the phone, it's always the best. So that's I said. Actually, that was really good.
Especially one of the most popular shows in the country, Kirk Menahan for Barstool Sports. We worked together. A couple of shows on WEI, did a couple of podcasts together that are fucking legendary, let me tell you. And he was responsible getting me back at EI the third time. He went out of his way, and I'll never forget him for doing that. It was great stuff. Anyway, man, that's going to do it, Angel. Man, we covered a lot today, didn't we? We covered a lot.
Did
I think
a ton.
All right, we got some good news coming up too. We'll wait for tomorrow, and then we'll mention there's some really good news shows coming up. What's coming up today on the network here on the Coastal Sports Network?
Ain't Dead Right will be on today at 1:00 as usual, so you guys can listen to Duncan Dad. And then yesterday, because of a power outage, one of the three coaches couldn't come on for Talking Hoops, so they're actually coming on tonight.
Nice.
So prior to the first game of the NBA Finals, they will be on. So look for them at 7:30 our time, which is Eastern, 6:30 Central Time.
Awesome. Not sure who's coming on tomorrow as guest, but we'll recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals between OKC and Indiana, where 7 people will be watching, and I'll be one of the 7. And also, whatever else, what other shenanigans, Red Sox, Yankees preview, and a whole lot more. Hopefully some NFL news. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers is signed with the Steelers, but then college football news as well. The NCAA Super Regionals begin tomorrow as well, with the Miami Hurricanes taking on Louisville, amongst other games. Angel, great job today. Thanks to John Meter-Perrell. Thanks to Kirk Menahan. Thanks to Jay Flanderly. Thanks to Trevor Harris. I am Pete. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m., everybody. We'll see you. Bye-bye.